This is the reason why ichalo cha Zambia tachireila pantanji bamulandu abakateka ababufi ngoyu Zambia tuwasebana awe sure ukumivotera ini again akalumba tena pali bamayo deti awadate ngobala aweja ngobala nanomba turelolelo 14 hours ikwane bakutitola ipone. It's been 4 years 5 years bakamba nothing akabunga grafu ibombe balibo bufi balibo bufi amachechinga yakwebako mwambo kuyetati ba Lucifer inetule puishanya fuela walela ndati vikabwela yali tia bufi akabunga watile ukabwasha Joseph ya bufi wali tia bufi Joseph ya bufi watile tukalalia 3 times a day. I'm a light yakale kokuya Nora chatting Kweza Yala yabakambe checha iritekela light Shibukisha no mwaka na ya mwene Diwela walela ndati vikabwela Yali tia buki Akabunga watile ukabwasha Joseph ya buki Dola Wali tia buki Joseph ya buki Yali tia buki akabunga watile ukabwasha Joseph ya buki Dola wali tia buki Joseph ya buki Alamila mayo Yali tia buki Ukubotela katega wa muminemo Joseph ya buki wali tia buki Mata Zambia tuwasebana bagamba abaye bapompwe Pro Max insala bagamba mchalo corruption apana abarusha na ba STA amakanda bajoka zibale imye papa vya kwao lyanjikwite bale imye mumuru bagamba makanda chabula ndasana bagamba Mata Zambia wasebana ama maini bagamba ama minerals yala pita everyday bagamba but tulefa nezala everyday Mata Zambia nikuiza tulerona tetwaikale pove bagamba tulepilila musenga Diwela walela ndati vikabwela Yali tia buki akabunga watile ukabwasha Joseph ya buki Dola wali tia buki Joseph ya buki Abuela bakapagola waza
Mundu bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Ni makebi ewa twele. Ni makebi ewa twele. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Yo 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 yo. Yo 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 yo. Chikali sana inchi. This country needs reconciliation. Nakulu muti. Let's go! Zambia muntu. Let's go! Mundu vile. Mundu vile. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Ni makebi. Ni makebi ewa twele. Ni makebi. Ni makebi ewa twele. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Yo 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 yo. Yo 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 yo. Yo 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 yo. Ni bakeke batwebele. Nichiluba ewa twebele. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepa kutemwa. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Mwana wasa ewa twebele. Nirupia ewa twebele. Uko
Guys, share. Let's have this broadcast. Today we are reviewing, it's clear, the front runners are Munduvile and Hakainde Hichilema, and we review who can likely take it in the next 37 days. So share. We begin to make major pronouncements as we whittle down to the last 37 days that are remaining.
ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Uko mule ya mwe bana bandi mukabo tepe lampi. Yo 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 yo. Yo 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 yo. Yo 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 yo. Zambia muntu. Zambia. Kateka ni nani? Ni Munduvile. Maisi ni nani? Ni makebi. Abansala. Abamfimfi. Abakaso. Abalupato. Makaso kwa tichalo chobeweka. Fue bene bandala manifue. Amasidi esta tu ya mona. Imiti shaluba. Panono atisha moneka. Ama appointment ya bafie kanonganiwe. Ukutandalila shamfumu mwalifilwa. Lelo kukwena lichila mulungu. Awete fyo bateki fitata. Abasungu mwaletasha. Nomba bali misula. Mwamona nombaka. Ilampita lishima. Ilampita lishima. Zambia muntu. Zambia. CDS tatu ya mona imiti shaluba panono atisha moneka ama appointment ya bafie kanonganiwe ukutandalila shamfumu mwalifilwa lelo kukwena lichila mulungu awetefyo batekifitata abasungu mwaletasha nomba bali misula mwamona nombaka ilampita lishima ilampita lishima ilampita lishima
Samukulu alikuwa tamaka ndemi pala bamundubire pano nipaka subaka tandemoni ndeti pa 13 August abantu bandi kuno kunsama chifuto bale mipere ukwa tema politics tulelanda abantu ikiri mu mind mu yabo ni change bafyo bene bale ikala nebe bale mona mu wika shibanga echo bale kwa afere change eba mundubire te ku mitemo ba mitemenwe abantu ikiri pofe yene yali politics atuye kwa afere change so muri change imuna himwele mwana isa muri change bombere ni kwa
kana besa sosa abantu bale
bombere ni abantu bale kwa change bombere ni abantu bamundubire nyeno beba cyagakira kamushika sene ni kumyeno mukwaite tupose bya abantu nshika pya muri sanfwe fifine muna mwaisa efyo tusaka maneni na amafoni bali tushimya na mayobonse kana lumanga bali tushimya so na tepa neve na setu tuiswire ni kwa mafoni keru pia tulelomba kulimwa esa mukulu alikuwa tamaka ndemi pala bamundubire pano nipaka subaka tandemoni ndeti pa 13 August abantu bandi kuno kunsama chifuto bale mipere ukwa tema politics tulelanda abantu ikiri mu mind mu yabo ni change bafyo bene bale ikala nebe bale mona mu wika shibanga echo bale kwa afere change eba mundubire te ku mitemo ba mitemenwe abantu ikiri pofe yene yali politics atuye kwa afere change so muri change imuna himwele mwana isa muri change bombere ni kwa
kana besa sosa abantu bale
bombere ni abantu bale kwa change bombere ni abantu bamundubire nyeno beba cyagakira kamushika sene ni kumyeno mukwaite tupose bya abantu nshita pya muri sanfwe
yone pia tekele MMD
20 years
the PF
10 years
Niji vile pona yo pia ndin sai nachipo turundeko ndikishia musira basi ya kwaleza bantu vueto akongefya musira basi yakwa
kwaleza
MMD 20 PF yaisa pewa 10 half of 20 5 ni half of
10
yes sorry don't worry things are okay
Inane ababemba batila mumushinga mwayingile nkalamu bonse balaba ikata n'obuloshi bonse bali abalaka abo batila balendana bamukabene balatala balabako kulira emilandu bonse bayima batikatirebeshe nkalamu elo lilianga balwishe nkalamu elo babwela nomba balabwela kumilandu bakwete ina naimini na pano naimini nanga PF Kuron constituents pa CF nomba mweba mninane icho tulefwaya uno mwaka kufunyapo ba UPND Icho tulefaya una mwaka kufunyapo wa UPND. Era pa kufunyapo wa UPND ngatwatilo uyuna iminina katwabaluishe. Tulefaya kwa kubombela panga nokukwata kentungulu shinga newe ntungulushi ni Brian Mundubile.
reconciliation. Nakulu mutinza pa makasa. Zambi Umuntu.
fyongo fyama politics kwakaputa natukwata munyinefo wafwile bamwipaya bakata banankwe balefo kutitikisha bakata bapate Yesu befishekala pisho mailo kulusaka basangile umulumende ulungishe filimba nabamushile filimba cha kulungisha ndio mwina mukukombola atila lishatumfwe efo chiledila ambo kulisho lwimbo mundubile na makebi efe abanensu bayimine ukumuma no kumwipaya mukanyama nakufa abantu fo abanensu baleti fwe bakwete fyongo nifwe amalale twakwata iya namba 20 kutwambila takulika ngubushiku na ngubumo ewo tukwete fyongo ili twachilaiza twachisanga ba UPND bale imapale njepali wachiboma twadile kuchinsali ba UPND ba bloko msebo twabekete moyo twakuchipata kuchipangali baisa pakati pa msebo twabekete moyo nishima natukwata mutende nchatala mfako busiku na ngubumo umukalamba wandi munyina nechechi ashita condemn violence ndeko kumweba munyina pamfa ya mulumendo mchawama pamfa ya mulumendo kwa kaputa pamfa ya bantu kwa kanyama ima webe chalo ukalipili ya bantu bobe ukutukula political violence ngachachi noli wagumu waka hili munyina nengoli waka hele Mr. President ngoli waka hele I want you to denounce violence. You should denounce political violence. But we should be able to muchishinga walipata olubuli. So kanshi mkwai iliyemio ifuile. Banabonse bafuile. Bantu banensu. Teo fuile. Na ine 5 years wale tulia fina bopamu. Na wakwata abana. Mabina wakwata abe shkulu. Palapene palupa pachasani pafita. Teo fuile. Kanshi chile ingelo kuti bafwe. Nicho balefu okulubuka. Balefu okuta campaign. Kanshika tukutuma nefe 1 minute imo tukwate nkumbu baba lenso bafwe.
Indeed, we've lost from John Leng, a radio repairer at Nelson Chikumbi, who was killed because he repaired a radio that was brought by a client, and to test it, and to test its volume and everything, he played the Mundubile Makebi song, Wengile, and it is at the market, and the UPND accused him of campaigning for the opposition, and they beat him, and he died later at the hospital. I'll play the report. We have Kwesha Ngonga. His other name is also Humphrey Luisha, who died in Kaputa. This one is a UPND cadre. Again, there was an altercation at a place called Pump House. There's a bar near there. The UPND came and, caused violence. And sadly, for one reason or another, Kwesha Ngonga was killed. We have Confucius Mwene, the independent candidate from Magoye East in Mazabuka, whose driver was killed in a gruesome manner. They thought they were killing Confucius Mwene. At the last minute, he changed where he could sleep, but unfortunately, that cost the life of the driver. The violence, as Brian Mundubile has stated, President Hakainde Hichilema is in charge of the levers of power. Remember, in 2021, the PF lost elections because of political violence. It's not that the PF were violent and the UPND were victims. The UPND were also a very violent party. But do you know why the PF was punished? It's for the simple reason that President Hakainde Hichilema had, President Edgar Lungu had the levers of power, had state institutions, had the police, these institutions are designed by our constitution to curb violence, to curb crimes. It is for the reason that they held the PF responsible for the political violence in 2021. It didn't mean that the UPND were not violent. The UPND have a history. They've been a violent party. So may the soul of the three, lay in eternal peace, and we pray that there should be no further violence. And I agree with Brian Mundubile when he challenges the president, that the president must speak very strongly against this. I remember at the height of the political violence, President Edgar Lungu stating that there was no justification for any violence. Any life lost was not worth even 1 million votes. That's what President Edgar Lungu would say. He says, I will not lose a life, even if it's at the expense of 1 million votes. So here we have lives that are lost. And I think the president, the Inspector General of Police, must come out, and must come out very, very strongly. I started the broadcast late because I was watching a football match. I had hoped. I've been a big supporter of Argentina, but when you look at the history and the way they've treated black people, and we had a huge community of black people, just like in Brazil, but that entire population disappeared. So I love Messi, but Cariafica violence against black people in Argentina as so party game, I was hoping that Egypt would win, but unfortunately, Argentina has won. My reluctant team that I support, and Messi, my son, calls Leon Messi that the old man. I said, even your old man from Portugal is also old. He says no. He just walked away and says, "Oh, the old man has scored," and Argentina has won 3-2. They scored 3 goals in the last 14 minutes. It must be very, very difficult for Egypt that were leading up to 14 minutes before the end of the game. They were leading 2-0, and Argentina scored 3 goals. This makes countries that have qualified, I think Morocco, France, Norway, England, Spain, Belgium, and now Argentina qualifying to I think there's a match coming up between Switzerland and Colombia. We'll see what the results will be later in the day. Who are you supporting? Make your comments. Are you supporting Morocco, France, Norway, England, Spain, Belgium, or Argentina, or your team has been kicked out? My biggest team is Cape Verde, Cabo Verde, as they say it in Portuguese, a small group of islands with a population, very small population. They are the wonderful goalkeeper who saved many goals. And out of love that Cape Verde reaches the finals. They were splendid. They were the outstanding team that has emerged. You saw how Argentina struggled to beat Cape Verde and Morocco, and now Egypt. So who are you supporting in the last 8 as they begin this FIFA World Cup? I think they'll be going into the quarter-finals after the last 16, because we've been seeing the last 16 playing out, and I think there's a game coming up, Switzerland versus Colombia. I've put a very provocative statement there that Mundubile is leading. Why do I say so? My last broadcast, people were saying who is leading between Mundubile, Hakainde Hichilema, Harry Kalaba, and Fred Membe. So I've been analyzing as the days proceed. And a few days ago, 20 days ago, I declared when we had the broadcast, when the team went to bury Nkosi, Yamankosi, and they hadn't held, a major rally. When they were burying Nkosi, Yamankosi, I think they had begun one rally and suspended the campaigns. I declared that this race would be a 2-horse race between President Hakainde Hichilema and Brian Mundubile. But people said, but look, Harry Kalaba hasn't had a rally. Fred Membe hasn't had a rally. You are too PF, you are too optimistic to declare that Brian Mundubile, it will be a 2-horse race between Brian Mundubile and Hakainde Hichilema. Well, I declared almost 20 days later, what I had stated has become. I narrated that there were concerns that candidates from the PF, with what was happening with Miles Sampa, with what was happening with Robert Chavinga, that they will not be allowed on the ballot. There was a move, people began to prepare, like a safe haven could be a Harry Calabar Citizen First or KBF's Prosperity Party or Fred Membe Socialist Party. But by February, March, many people were leaning towards Harry Calabar. They felt that probably was going to provide a home in the event that the PF are not allowed, and both Tonse and PF Pamosi are not allowed on the ballot. It came to pass. PF, people that emerged from PF, Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile, emerged under special purpose vehicles, NRP, UP, and Restoration Party. And the goodness is they became one ticket. What they did was to electrify the ground base, to solidify that base of people that came from PF or had left PF or were looking up to the PF for solutions. And here is the kicker. President Hakainde Hichilema had spent 5 years destroying the Patriotic Front. He spent a lot of money to jail them, to deplatform the PF, to remove the leaders, and give it to stooges of Miles Sampa and Robert Chavinga. This has turned out to be a blessing in a great disguise. Because now Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu don't even have to speak about PF. They don't even have to speak about the late President Edgar Lungu. They just need to come to the platform and promise people what they will do for our country. Imagine if they were standing on the PF. First, ngakwari ukupapata, ngakwari ukuchita apologize. We wouldn't probably have attracted new people that have come that had strong issues around the PF. So a matter meant for evil, a matter meant to destroy the political space in our country has turned out very good. If there is any person who has rebranded the PF, it's President Hakainde Hichilema. Because it is now with him, with Robert Chavinga and Miles Sampa. And they are the people that are appearing on his platform. And I guess he's spending time to condemn the PF while he has Chavinga and Miles Sampa to speak on behalf of the PF. The troubles have moved to President Hakainde Hichilema. Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile just need to concentrate on the message of what they will do to Zambians, for Zambians, the message of hope, how their policies will be different, how they will rescue this country. I posted something on my page about the debt program in Ghana. Ghana has decided to pay off the debt. Let me just take a brief.
Fyongo fyama politics kwakaputa natukwasa munyine fo wafwile bamwipaya bakada balankwe balefo kutitikisha bakada bapate Yesu lelo fishikala pisho mailo kulusaka basangile umulumendo ulungishe filimba nabamushile filimba cha kulungisha ndio mwina mukombola atila lishatumfwe efachilelila ambo kulisho lwimbo Mundubile na Makebi efi abanensu bayimine ukumuma no kumwipaya mukanyama na kufu abantu fo abanensu baleti fwe bakwete fyongo ni fwe amalale twakwata iya namba 20 potwambila takulika ngubushiku na ngubumo ewo tukwete fyongo ili twachilaiza twasanga ba UPND bale imapale njepali wachiboma twadile kuchinsali ba UPND ba block msebo twabekete moyo twakuchipata kuchipangali baisa pakati pa msebo twabekete moyo nishima natukwato mutende nchatala mtu wako buchikuna ngubumo umukalamba wandi munyina nechechi I shall condemn violence. Therefore, kumweba, munina, pamfaya mulumendo mcha.
After so many days in the field, Brian and Makebi Zulu left Lusaka, I think 2 weeks ago. You know, they've had rallies from Petauke to Nyimba, to Katete, to Chipata. They went to Lundazi. They couldn't have one in Chama. They started with Impika, you know, Chinsali, Isoka, Nakonde. They moved to Mbala and Nakonde. And I'd bemoaned that they haven't had an opportunity to have a helicopter, and this is extremely taxing on them. First, the roads in many places of our country in the rural areas are terribly bad. And, you know, so they've been away for over 2 weeks from Lusaka. And as you heard the voice of Brian Munduvile, it's beginning to cause stress, because in these campaigns, I've been to these campaigns, you catch flus and coughs in the dust and, you know, in crowds and all. But persist, these are young men, like I stated the other day. They are far younger than President Hakainde Hichilema, who's 64. Brian is only turning 55. Makebi is 46. They have to endure this taxing campaign. They don't have a helicopter because we understand the Zambia Air Force have not permitted. I personally know that both our team and the team of Harry Kalaba had requested for the permission to have a helicopter flown and the route approved, and Zambia Air Force have kept mum. And like I say, whatever the devil plans with, you know, the Lord has a way of turning it to good. In the end, the struggle of Brian and Makebi going by road has helped, because they've met more people. They've had instant road shows, like the stop at Matumbo, where they instantly attracted a huge crowd. And it's been like that everywhere, where they make a stopover or when people learn that this is a convoy of Brian Munduvile and Makebi Zulu. So what could have been very bad has turned out very good, because they're mobilizing the best, meeting people they wouldn't have naturally met. And also there's a fear of these planes, safety. And, you know, if you are in a suspicious environment, in the end, it has played out very well. But it's extremely taxing on their bodies. And then the number of time, look, they've done 3 provinces in a period of 2 weeks. President Hichilema is now, in a period of 4 days, is proceeding to do almost 5 provinces. He did Northwestern province, he did Western, he did Central, he's on the Copper Belt and is going to Eastern province. And speaking of Eastern province, I was sent this poster, Evangelist Daniel Dutoit from Cape Town is supposed to have a huge rally on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. It's supposed to be a 7 days program from Wednesday, no, a 5-day program from Wednesday up to Sunday, 12th July. He's supposed to have a crusade. He's a well-known preacher, started his preaching. Evangelist Dutoit started his preaching when he was a youth. So he has modeled these crusades around what Reinhard Bonke would do. People that don't know Reinhard Bonke, that's where Nevas Mumba grew from. He was an interpreter at Reinhard Bonke's rallies. And, you know, the breakthrough that Nevas Mumba got came from here. So Daniel Dutoit is also an admirer of Reinhard Bonke. So he's supposed to have a 5 days crusade in Eastern Province in Chipata, and it has been cancelled on the understanding that the president will be in the area. And it's totally unfair. This is the third program that is associated with State House cancelling programs. The first one was Sunday Nyangwe's, you know, overnight prayer that was supposed to have on Independence Day. Then we had the Jehovah's Witness, whose third day was cancelled at the last minute. They had paid for 3 days for their district convention, and they had planned for it, and, you know, they filled that entire 60,000-seater stadium. And they were forced at the last minute, because on Friday, President Hakainde Hichilema announced that he was going to have a rally and launch his campaign for this year's elections for the presidential, parliamentary, and local government elections, at Hero Stadium, outside Hero Stadium, and the Jehovah's Witnesses were forced to vacate. Now we have Evangelist Daniel Du Toit. It's taken him months to prepare for this 5-day conference in Chipata, but it's been postponed on account that the president, after his Copperbelt rally, is supposed to be in Eastern Province. Totally unfair. These are things that are decampaigning the UPND, and I wish that they can make their program around not to disrupt institutions such as the church when they have pre-plans. An international crusade takes many months to plan. And a busy man like Evangelist Daniel Du Toit has all year round booked out in advance, and to cancel his 5-day crusade because the president is going to be in the province is totally unfair, like it was unfair to the Jehovah's Witness. So we proceed. Like I said, I've put something very provocative that Brian Mundubile is leading. Now, that's a very provocative statement to stay. But like I said 20 days ago, I said this is going to be a 2-horse race between President Hakainde Hichilema and Brian Mundubile. And we saw. In fact, I said it before the Kitwe rally. And it appeared that I was being speculative, I was favoring the team I belong to. There are many times when I'm seated in this chair, I say unfriendly things. Because when I'm seated in this chair, I'm on EMV. There are things I say that are totally broad, totally analytical, totally based on the facts available. So I never say them because I need to say them. I say them because they are founded in the truth. So why am I saying Brian Mundubile is leading? Someone says, look, the Brian Mundubile Makebi team have not featured. The UPND are saying we have not featured in 70 constituencies. That's not true, because I think Dr. Zuman Zimba clarified and gave out details. And someone can put in the comments even that list that was released by Zuman Zimba, or someone can quickly send it to me. How many constituencies has the Tonse Pamozi Alliance featured in? The enemy has been saying you, out of 226, you didn't feature in 72 constituencies. Someone sent me the list. I think Zuman Zimba had released that list and demonstrated that there are few. I think officially from ECZ, it's only 15 constituencies that remain unchallenged, 15 constituencies. And the others where there have been attempts to make the candidates withdraw, like the case of Mwene in Bwengwa and the independent candidate whose driver just was recently killed. There are all these candidates that are being persuaded to stand down. We saw the young man in Kabwe today. He announced that he was standing down, but we still have an NRPUP candidate in Kabwe, so that's fine, even if the UPND candidate withdraws. So the UPND says, number one, you haven't featured in all candidates, in all constituencies. That's supposed to be a weakness. Number two, NRPUP and Restoration Party are barely 2 months old to the Zambians, and therefore it will take a long time for them to be properly entrenched. Number three, President Hakainde Hichilema is the incumbent, and as you've seen from the rallies, he's able to wrap up campaigns. He has done, in 5 days, he has done almost 5 provinces, and they're saying he has that edge and advantage. And then we have 116 districts, we have 10 provinces, and we have over 226 constituencies. With the 37 days remaining, it is clear at the pace that Mwambayo team is moving, they may not even cover the entire provinces. And they are saying President Hakainde Hichilema has delivered on CDF, he has delivered on free education and on debt restructure. That is the argument why they think Hichilema is far ahead. And someone sent me the rally in Kitwe, which appears to be their biggest so far. But the trouble with those rallies, and I'll show you, I think I need to quickly download the picture, is, are you telling me Even as big as the rally you had in Kitwe, everyone dressed in red. You mean all those are UPND members? And in this country, we know the largest number that political parties have for members is very small. I've given details here that in 2021, the Patriotic Front, I think by studies, Frederick Stiftung, the Germans, had done a study of the official number of registered members by political parties. The first was PF. It had about 450,000 members. Then it had, the second one in place was UPND. That had official register of around 180 to 200,000 members. It quickly gives you a clear picture that in our country, the people that determine the fate of our country usually don't even belong to UPND or PF or any other political parties. They are Zambians. They don't register with any political parties because the total number of all members of political parties was under 800,000. But if you see the voter turnout, it was about 4.5 million registered voters that turned up to vote. So you have the bulk of our people that are not registered or are not actively identified with any political parties. They don't buy cards. They don't, you know, they are behind. They can support your policies at a time. And that's why the rallies by the UPND, which are massive, have a big weakness. The Kitwe rally, I was seeing it, which appears to be the biggest rally so far. Maybe even the Lusaka rally, but the Kitwe rally today was very big. But look at the cars behind, the vehicles, the buses behind, and everyone is in red. Kashini branch meeting. That is why they are saying, in the end, the frustration that Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu have felt, where they haven't had time because their political party was not approved yet. It was only approved, you know, just 2 months ago, and there has been no time to print regalia. If there's any regalia that could have done, probably it was done under FDD. And so in the end, there is no regalia. There could be symbolic regalia here and there, but there's no regalia because you print them in China, and it takes 3 months for those containers to arrive. So Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu have no regalia, and this is helping them because then you can't tell whether the rally is by ordinary members, by ordinary people of our, you know, our people, or by members of, you know, NRPUP and Restoration Party. So it has benefited. The rallies by the president, everyone is in red, never paint, everyone's in uniform. Now, if you read the review by Dixon Jerry in his reflections when he was at State House, and you know the rally that they had at the last Mandevu rally before we went to elections in 2011, the rally at those Mandevu grounds was very big by Rupiah Banda. But you could see the numbers of buses and canters behind, and everyone was in blue. And Rupiah Banda dressed everyone and everything, from trees to people to everyone. People say this is an artificial crowd. Where are the Zambians? And when the results came, they showed. Satau barely had any regalia. In fact, Basata used to discourage patch regalia. There were symbolic t-shirts here and there. No cards, no regalia. Thumped President Rupiah Banda. This is what I see with the same. That the biggest person who has rebranded Brian Mundubile is President Hakainde Hichilema himself. So Brian has no regalia, and the mass crowds is pulling appear just ordinary people. There are few cars around them, few canters around them. What you are seeing is people are moving. There's an allegation that they are being bussed. No. Just check all the rallies. Whether it's a KPF rally, whether it's a Ndola rally, check the Kabwe rally. You go to Petauke, you are not seeing any vehicles around those rallies, meaning people have walked, they've come, they've cycled to those rallies. And if you compare with the UPND rallies, they are all in red, and there are too many buses and canters behind, that shows you that they are the ones that are busing and dressing up. They look organized. Are they ordinary voters? That's another matter. Another thing they are saying is that President Hakainde Hichilema has an edge, he has an advantage, because he has his strongholds intact. Southern Province, Western Province, Northwestern Province, and Luapula. And that he's going then to use the other provinces as complementary to his solid base. But is the base for President Hakainde Hichilema as solid as the UPND are putting it? Is it as solid as they are putting it? I think the UPND have shot themselves in the foot by featuring candidates that are not popular in Southern Province. People like Jack Mwimbu and others should have been retired. You should not have antagonized people like Gary Nkombo. You know, you should not cause violence against Cliff Mwene in Wengwa. I know it must be painful. This is where the president comes from. Then there's a candidate who's probably related to the president, who is not supporting the official candidate of the party in an area where the president comes. And now you have unleashed violence, and the young man has to live in fear. All those are not sitting well with the people in Southern Province. What this may cause, it may cause apathy, because you've given them candidates that are not popular. They may not vote for the Tonse Pamosi Alliance candidates. They may vote independent or stay home. So your stronghold is not as strong as it is. Western Province, the cry from Western Province is very simple. We've supported you consistently. What have you done in return? Look at the PF. They tarred the Mongu airport. They did the Mongu Kalabo Road, the biggest infrastructure project in Southern Africa. $350 million for a stretch of about 37 kilometers. And someone says that program started with Rupiah Banda. Musokotwane procured the loan. So there were two programs. Remember, I was privileged to have been PS in Western Province. There were two projects. One, we got a loan from the Arabs, I think the Saudi Arabia Fund. And we did the Mongu Kalabo Road. And remember, in one season, it was washed away. And then the designers came. It started under Rupiah Banda. The designers came. They said, what you need here is not a road. What you need is an elevated platform, literally bridges after bridges. I think there are 26 bridges with the longest span on Zambezi Road, 1.1 kilometers. That make that road. They said you can't do a road on Mongu Kalabo Road because the plains, the flooding is unpredictable. It rises. There are many times that is going to rise to historical rise and to bury the road. So the design ensured that the lowest point was now compared to the last distance in the 100 years that we've had official measurement, that the highest that swamp area has risen. And that's why they built bridges after bridges. $350 million for a stretch of 35 kilometers. So when President Sata came into office, I want to answer the question that this was Rupiah Banda's project. And I had just been taken to Western Province as permanent secretary in 2013. And there was a terrible negative report that the Mongu Kalabo Road first was not bringing value for the money, and that the Mongu Kalabo Road, even if it is done, is going to be washed away. There was a negative report. And I was alerted by colleagues from RDA. I think people like Bernard Chwala, who was PS and was RDA CEO at the time, can tell you that I received a report that the loan had ballooned our books. It was not worth it and it was going to be cancelled. When I received that message, the first person I called was Wainonge Winner. And I said, there's this negative report. And I'm told Ministry of Finance is actively trying to cancel this loan. This was 2013. And Wainonge can confirm with you. And we made a plan that we're going to involve His Majesty the Litunga, Wainonge, and myself. We individually called Basata and pleaded for the case. So he called me. Bamwamba ngefu mchongo mule pali Mongu Kalabo Road. Njeni ngufaba kateka tupale wale kuchita cancel. What do we do? I said, send, Mr. President, I've toured this, and I remember releasing the images of Mongu Kalabo Road. It was 90% done. They hadn't put the tops, but the pillars were up in most places, and some covering was there. But it was 80 to 90% done. And I said, it's ridiculous for anyone to file such a negative report. And the following day, Benajwala and a large team from Ministry of Works, from RDM, and from Ministry of Finance came. And they toured. And lucky enough, the following week, Bo Alexander Chikwanda was also making a tour because I had persuaded him on the cashew nut project. He had released 10 million kwacha for us to begin primary work. But, you know, when we had now written that document for $50 million. But he gave us 10 million to begin to group together the associations and to do some preliminary work. We had some Mozambicans that I had brought in to bring nursery. And so he had given me 10 million kwacha for that work. And he was coming to follow up on how that was done. He had a tour of Sesheke for, you know, he had a good relation with Senior Chief Yeta, may he so rest in eternal peace, and then in Mongu. So you remember those pictures that I took Wo Alexander Chikwanda on an unscheduled trip to the Mongu Kalabo Road. He said, why are you taking me there? I said, you need to see it. They've done 90%. And they took the measurement, had taken up all the technical document, had read it. That, for example, the road can never flood because they had taken measurements of the last 100 years. So the highest it had been would be the lowest for the Mongu Kalabo Road. And I said the design is totally different from the previous one, where they did the road on embankments. This is a road sitting on bridges. So I took him on a tour because when you have the Minister of Finance, you are guaranteed that it will be on ZNBC and it would influence whoever was trying to peddle negative report. The point is, the Mongu Kalabo survived. Whoever was pursuing that it should be cancelled, it was not worth it. It was a large bill of $350 million for a stretch of 35 kilometers was defeated by what we did. And the lobby of Wainonge and His Majesty the Litunga ensured that that project succeeded. And look what it is. It's an engineering marvel. You can see the PF that did so much, Wainonge that did so much. We did even another beautiful bridge on Sioma. You know, when you are going Mongu Sesheke Road, there's a one modern bridge on Sioma. And of course, the Mongu Senanga Road was done. We did the township roads. And I can tell you the story about township roads. They were under local government. So local government decided that they were going to do township roads for Western Province. In Kaoma and in Sesheke. And they said they couldn't do the township roads in Mongu. Do you know why? Because Mongu sits on a base of sand. And they said it would require, because they were doing, I think, 18 kilometers per district. And from their planning, they wanted as much coverage as possible. So they said we can do, politically, 3 big roads, 3 township roads. Please, Kaoma, Sesheke, can't remember was it Mulobezi? Yeah. For the same budget, instead of doing Mongu Road, I said, it won't happen. I am PSA. You can't ignore the provincial capital. Something I also did in Kasama. And I remember that I traveled to Lusaka for that particular purpose. And my minister was Obvious Mwalitet. I engaged him. And the budget for the Mongu township roads could have done 3 districts. Why? Because like I said, it sits on a base of sand. So first you have to compact, you have to bring in so much gravel, compact it, you defeat the sand, you have to gravel it out, the engineers know, then lay a foundation, then do the actual road. So the price for the Mongu road, we could have achieved township roads in 3 districts. But for me, I put my foot down. First, His Majesty the Litunga lives here in Mongu. 2, Mongu is a provincial capital, so you cannot skip. It's better let's find the money for the other district, but we start with Mongu. That's how Mongu has those township roads. Then government did the Mongu Senanga Road. Then there was that big project we were supposed to do with Angola on Shangombo, where we were supposed to do a $40 million canal between Rivungu and Shangombo. But the PF, despite all that work, despite even a $50 million project to revive the cashew nut, were kicked out. So Western Province is asking, you UPND, who we have supported, what have you done? Okay, Mongu, the small road to the Litunga, well, this is a party that supported you. The party, by the way, under the PF, Western Province was the poorest province. It's now number 7. The poorest provinces is now Muchinga and Northern Province. In fact, Mongu, Western Province, I think is number 4 after Luapula. Luapula and Mongu were the poorest provinces, but the development taken by the PF, and thanks to Nixon Chilango as well for Luapula. All the roads that were done, opening up Mansa, tarring that airport and bringing in industries and trying to build new power stations for Luapula, and the work that was done in Western Province have ensured that these Cinderella provinces are no longer the poorest. It's now actually Muchinga and Northern Provinces that are the poorest in our country. And Luapula and Western Provinces that were literally, a basket case, have moved up. The poverty levels are no longer sitting at 82%, 84% like it was in the past. Why? Because of the initial projects that first you've attended to the infrastructure. That has brought economic boom and business. That Mongu Kalabo Road, the road that should have been done between Mongu and Skongo. I saw the president while addressing a rally at Skongo Secondary School. That's a project by the PF. There was no secondary school in Skongo. We built a brand new modern boarding school in Skongo. And, there was a power station, power lines, and a new road that was going there. I think it's a cancellation that was done. That's why up to now, you don't have the Kalabo-Skongo road. But all the works the PF did, the $50 million cashew project, the project to revive rice and rice production, and also to utilize the plains. I used to get annoyed with FRA and Ministry of Agriculture, because they just allocate fertilizer, and you want to bring fertilizer to Western Province when most parts of Western Province, it becomes extremely expensive to grow maize per hectare. You have the poorest yield for maize in Western Province. Only areas that are near Mumbwa, like like Kaoma, but Sesheke, Mlovezi, Senanga, Kalabo, Skongo, you can't do proper maize production. But our guys from Lusaka, the same fertilizer they are taking to Northern Province is the same fertilizer they'll take to Western Province. Instead of recognizing and having a genuine debate that we want to Akwalesa, Western Province might require probably a different approach. Why don't we recognize the current climate change and maybe grow rice? Maybe utilize the plains for fruits and vegetables, the seasons. That's the most fertile area in Western provinces when the river recedes, the Zambezi River recedes, and the fertile lands that remain unused. There are many things you can do differently. So Western province is not sitting pretty with the UPND because they're asking them, what is your plan with UPND? Similarly, look at Northwestern province. The largest mine in Africa are in Northwestern province. Should Northwestern province be discussing needs for roads? Really? Water and water reticulation? A province that's giving you the largest wealth in Southern Africa. You have Kansanshi copper and gold mine. You have Lumwana. You have Sentinel and these other mines. Then you have the gold mines that have come up. Kasenseli gold. The other gold mines both in Mufumbwe, in Kasempa. And the grievances of the people of Northwestern is, we are not saying this is our resources alone. These are resources for Zambia. But truly, should we be arguing even about things like roads? The Solwezi Mwinilunga road, the accidents that occur, and the delay in traffic. So UPND is not sitting pretty either. And they've supported UPND from its inception in 1998 when Anderson Mazoka merged with the National Party, and their first rally was in Solwezi. Teta Mashimba and others, facilitated, before he moved back to Mwanawasa, they facilitated that growth of the UPND. Literally, the UPND politically is born and birthed from Northwestern province. What has this government done? You have some of the poorest schools there, still with mud and poor, no roads. And yet we have the largest mines in Africa coming from that province. And the people cry every day. And their MPs are frustrated. They picked unpopular candidates. They've punished, a very vibrant MP who's critical, is a very critical guy. They should have just listened to him than turn him into a pariah, like they've done to Gary Nkombo. You have a former MP that has resigned. Samakai, brilliant man. He was at the African Union, at the African Parliament, and I met him several times. Brilliant mind. But for them, whoever provides critique, whoever provides independent thought is deemed as an enemy of the party. And they accused him of supporting Bill 7 and he's been punished. So there are rumblings and grievances in Western Province and Northwestern Province. This is for the Brian Mundubile team to pick up, to partner with people that can sell your message. You may not sell the message yourself. You have to find partners that can be listened to in those provinces. For President Hakainde Hichilema, he has picked voices and partners that are not respected. Sande Chanda, Robert Chabinga, and the others that have moved to the areas. Mayoba Lumango, vice president, she's struggling in our own constituency. They had to use ECZ to ban the campaigns because they knew that Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu were going to have the largest political rally, one of the largest political rallies in Kaputa. So they've used ECZ to ban the NRPUP from conducting any of its activities in the area, so that the two key officials who anchor Northern and Muchinga provinces, Elvis Nkando and Mtale Narumango, are not inconvenienced or are not made to look weak. But there's something boiling in Kaputa, right where the biggest personalities of the UPND are. So what's my verdict? 37 days remaining. I can tell you that Brian Mundubile is leading, followed by President Hakainde Hichilema. And we're glad to see a number of opposition leaders from Sakwiba Skota, Mama Chishalakateka and others join Brian Mundubile. And then you had from the Citizen First, our dear brother, one of the greatest grassroots campaigners, Chimbaka Mbuli, return to the fold, and he gave a good speech in Mporokoso yesterday, and today they were both in Lunte. Lunte is in Mporokoso, but it's near Luingu. So there are two rallies, Lunte and Luingu. And Chimbaka Mbuli was one of the main speakers. So they've done very well. We are yet to see them go to Luapula. And then they will roll out to Lusaka. I think they're supposed to have one of the biggest rallies in Lusaka. And they're supposed to go now to the other provinces. Many people are saying, but why doesn't Makebi and Brian Mundubile break up to cover ground? You cannot, for two reasons. Number one, I think Brian Mundubile and Makebi ought to partner the way they've partnered. They need to continue building the solid base, to continue showing that their rallies are growing. If you split them, they may not attract the large crowd. The UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema, Bamayo, Whitney Kapembwa, Mutale na Lumango, they can afford to split because she has a helicopter, the president has a helicopter. They can then use the largesse of money to even bus people, to bring people, to create a picture like there's groundswell for the UPND. For Brian Mundubile and Makebi, they may not afford it. So for me, I would propose, this is just openly, my thought right now is that they should remain together for those purposes. If we split them, would they attract the same crowd? At the moment, politics is about perception. And, the build-up, the momentum they keep on building for every province, we have to see it. If they split up, would we see that? And remember, the enemy is waiting for your weaknesses. Just one small rally and they will go to town against it. So I think Makebi and Brian should continue on this path. What the role should be now for their candidates to continue mobilizing. Chaba kuchage filanga mwakwata crusade. Nidaba your biggest pastor wakwata mass crusade. Nidabaya mweba muchitente, mweba small communities and the junior partners. Now you go back to those people that you had won over. So when Brian and Makebi pass through the whirlwind and command that large crowd, it's your duty, you councillors, you district leadership and constituency leadership, to continue with the gains. Logistics, when you are not a ruling party, logistics should be left to the ruling party. You are not a ruling party. So do not bring the story of logistics. Sacrifice for now. Consolidate the gains that the rallies are bringing to your areas. And I have seen, whether it's in Mpulungu Mbala, whether it's in Sengahi, whether it's Malole, whether it's Kasama, you are not busing people. That is very good. It means you are preaching to the local community, and therefore the local leadership must quickly remain with the message while Brian and Makebi go to the rest of the provinces. Vote protection is my last comment before I invite cause. Yesterday we had a discussion with the Canadians. There was Sishua, myself, Father Boalia, and Mr. Patrick Shindano. We had a very wonderful with the Canadians. I'll find time to download that program and show it to you. We discussed the issue of vote protection and vote security. It remains very important. You don't have to wait for Zumanzimba or Celestine Mukandila. Ukokwine mwawa, get a voters register. There's even an e-copy of the entire voters register. Get it for your area, identify your polling station, form polling committees for two reasons. Number one, to ensure that the 900 people on that polling station come to vote. Number two, that the vote is protected. 18 hours, and you ensure that the accredited polling officials from the party agents are not chased by the UPND. So you ought to be present there to protect the vote. What is your view? Is Mundubile leading in this race? What is your view between Hakainde Hichilema I would have said 2 months ago, President Hakainde Hichilema had no political opponent. And he used to joke that there's no opposition, and that's a narrative they had. But in the last just barely 2 months, we've seen a huge groundswell for the opposition. And I can put my risk here that so far, 37 days before, unless something happens, Munduvile is leading. And what's your view? Let's hear from you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Nebo Mutale. First of all, I'll start with the word of, I'll take my time. I'll start with the word of thanking God for your service. And because looking at what is happening here, I think there's too much money being involved. If MP aspiring candidates are being introduced to money, they're given money, they're paid off. Remember, you have stood your ground, you have shown your loyalty, you have shown that your interest, it is not your belly. Your interest is to save the people. Because I know these people, they have your number, they can reach you or they have reached you. But you have decided no. At the point you even discussed Brian when he did a shortcut. All what he wanted to do was to do the right thing. You did not discuss him in a negative way to say, no, he's a sellout. You said the process was bad. And today, you stand strong, and may the Lord bless you for this noble call that you're doing. On a lighter note, since you started with introducing, telling the people how the UPND, or rather how PF has done in the Western Province, indeed, PF has done a very good job. But I just wanted to say that I think most Zambians don't know the brainer behind the Zambia Link 8000, that is Emmanuel Mamba. One day you should take time and educate people so that they know how patriotic you are. The project that you have spoken to and they have come to pass. That the real brainer of 8,000 or whatever link is. Coming to the issues of politics, Brian Mundulu is leading the race because this is a man who is a born again, who has just resurfaced under all the oppressions and all the pushing, the arrestment and all those things. Things we didn't even know that Brian would be this popular. But Brian today has come out very strong and so far he's doing very well. Ambassador, allow me to speak about violence in UPND, which I feel that this is something that we need to spend time to speak to. UPND has been a part of violence from a way back. In Mfumbwe, PF did not participate. I think that was 2000 plus, way back. PF did not participate in the election. It was UPND and MMD. We saw the people died. We saw the bloodshed. That time there was no much phones like today, but if newspapers such as the Post and Daily were capturing those images, which means things were very disturbing. So UPND has been a very violent political party. Then let us not forget Mapatizia formula. Mapatizia formula was a UPND. It is a UPND slogan which is being used to kill and to fight people, most especially during this time. In 2016 and 2014 and 2016, we know people who were displaced, who were killed in Southern Province. The young brother to Sunday Chanda today, how foolish this man can be. He was killed in Southern Province when they had his brother to Sunday Chanda. He was killed. So I'm so proud, I'm so grateful to God that today we're having a political party which is campaigning at highest level, which is the Nduwile party and the brand that has got no regalia. So UPND never monekera no, but this is the only devil in town. Because if UPND, the team of Brian and Makede had the regalia, they could have been wearing those regalia and painting. The UPND would have getting those regalia and using them kill people and do all those things. But now this is what even other people are saying, that indeed, in my last remarks, indeed HH is a Satanist. Because there's no way people are dying. They even once saw Edgar Chagwa Lungu said, I choose to give power. There are people who went to ECO and tell him to say, no, please hold on to power. ECO said, no, and I don't want anyone to die because of me wanting to be in the office. But you can see this man wanting to be in office, people are dying. Already 4 people have been killed. Zambians, we have to rise and condemn this act. Lastly, please, Ambassador Konkome ensure about everyone, this is an everyday call, is that we should protect our votes. Thank God we have seen Kambwiri, Max coming on board and many others. This is what I said even the other day, that anyone who is not part and parcel of this project, such as I mentioned Bakalaba, I mentioned Bamembe, these are the project of UPND. Until then, when they say, let me belong, let me jump and come. This as of now, I'll consider them as project of UPND. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's pick more calls. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Bamwamba, Mwabombeni mkwai.
Ndita.
Ilifya bwino network, kuno tuwaika ila kumwesi network ya dishupa.
Lelo fide umfika bwino.
Natotera balesa mama nyirenda nde tumina kusuva lesti. Bamwamba nalata mpira ya aba bakambwiri. Tuwadila ndirepo pa programu ine, ukweba kuti ba opposition, tien tuikale chapamo. Bonse tubombere chapamo omwana tumona background abantu abale onfuika ni babiri Makebe Zulu na Brian Mundubire Makebe Zulu na ba Brian Mundubire kale ni pamo tusale leader omo antuleba tote Brian Mundubire na Makebe Zulu pakwisa chapamo ba Brian baba ba leader ba Mundubire ba vice bamwamba tufikirepo te ya kusekei iye na ya serious kwati ni leba nga yayi manangu banga sendo omuti nangu banga la senyereti pakafyo mwana apape pakafyo mwana afyalwe so apa tule kwata bampundu Brian Mundubire na Makebe Zulu so ababekele fya opposition mambi bale waya lwabo ababa neswaba bali bonfye fitumbi last time balese kaba nawo kwati awo bale bonfye fitumbi bale bonfye shani bena balela ndapali banani tali balela ndapala na abantu abafuire ukulalumbula mashina chite anamwalira ne Edgarungu chite anamwalira ne Edgarungu lero tuleta hotela leso omlandu wakwe bati bena balelwa beka ba PF na abanani kane nabesha kuchipanisha Yesu ba PF bali yana bena bachabinga bali senda PF na bamao sampa bonse abalubuli bakabwalala bonse bali ya ku UPND Tulelwisha bamwamba ni second independent tulesenda pa 13th August balefwaya lero mwebantu mwebekala chalo please twami papata ama voters card ayo sungeni bwino pakwe bati ba Brian Mundubire bakese turubula muno mchalo chesu tatulefwayo obuchushi tatulefwayo efya rubuli ero tatulefwayo omuntu wakulanda kuli ba Brian Mundubire alanana kaba mwamba shirelanda sana lero nina kamu kampeni kwenda door to door pakafye 13th ikatente bamba tule milole langa batu awina fyo kwisa mpokelera pa sausage airport lesa mipale lesa misunge muombe bwino bamwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Bamwamba.
Good evening.
Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba, I've been following you quite closely, and I was listening to your explanation about how the PF worked so well in Western Province. I think you must be commended for that. And to be honest, as a member of the UPND, I will, as a matter of fact, I would like to commend PF for their concerted efforts where roads are concerned. You did a good job on that score. I would like to commend you. However, to suggest that the UPND is going to lose these elections because they've not done quite so well in the so-called, the places you, in your view, the places you are considering that they are strongholds for UPND, it is quite unfair. The UPND has only been in government for 4 years plus. And if you look at their trajectory, I think they've scored quite heavily in this country. It was unexpected of UPND to have achieved at least 85% of the campaign promises, which they managed to do in a space of 4 years and a few months. Okay, and also to suggest that UPND is only strong in Western, Northwestern, and Southern Province. It's not true. It is not true. I live in Lusaka myself. Okay, if you see the momentum, the UPND is very popular in Lusaka. I was in Garden Compound yesterday and part of today. And when you listen to people carefully, people know to say that there's a clear distinction between the PF, the Tonse Alliance led by Munduvile and UPND. And the major difference is that this political party has only been in power for a space of 4 years, and they've achieved 85% of the promises they made to the people in 2021. So my dear
brother, I don't want to rebut or take your time. When you say they've achieved 85%, what do you mean? Because all analysts will tell you that the trouble with the president is he's making promises when he has not fulfilled up to 90% of his promises in the first stage. Okay, for example, he promised that milimi will be 50 kwacha. You know the price of milimi. He said fuel will be at 12 kwacha. You know how much fuel it is per liter. He said the exchange rate will come down to 12 kwacha. You know where the exchange rate is. He promised that fertilizer, will be costing 250 kwacha and will be giving so many people so many bags. People in their analysis say the president's promise up to 90% he has not fulfilled from his first term, and he's already making fresh promises. What do you say to that?
Okay, so my honest response, Mr. Mwamba, to that is that let's start with the issue of the price of milimi in this country. You know that in 2023, the 2023-2024 farming season, we had a drought, okay? This drought was not expected. This was a natural disaster, okay? So this affected what the UPND promised, okay? It affected the price because it was a natural occurrence.
The PF, yeah, just a minute there. Yeah, just a minute. Just on the drought. The PF had the worst drought in 30 years in 2015, 2017, and 2019. And in fact, the drought in 2023 was predicted, because El Nino and this effect comes every 10 years. So they said we had the worst one in 2015. The one that was coming in 2023, 2024 was predicted.
Okay. Mr. Mwamba, so the difference again, when you talk about the drought of PF and the drought of UPND, is we can put it in a historical context. You took over government from a responsible political party in the name of MMD. The economy was doing very well when you took over in 2011. So the economy was not damaged as it was in 2021. Remember that when HS took over government, he needed to stabilize he needed to have economic recovery. He needed to stabilize the economy. None of that needed to happen under the PF because the economy was good from the MMD. The Kwacha was performing well. The economy was good. The farming seasons before 2011 were good. So you took over from a very good government where the economy is concerned.
And again, my brother, because I'm privileged that you are calling from the other side, and let's just have a decent conversation. When President Hakainde Hichilema took over, he had foreign reserves of $3.1 billion. He had maize reserves that would last him 2 to 3 years. He had infrastructure development laid for him in the last 10 years. So the story that they took up a bankrupt economy or a struggling economy may not be true.
It is very true. It is very true, Ambassador Mwamba, that when UPND took over government in 2021, the economy was very, very bad. We were actually in the negative. If not for President Hakainde, if not for President Hakainde becoming president in 2021, I don't know where this country would have been today. Okay? Again,
the records there show, my brother, the records show the only time Zambia has ever recorded negative growth was in 2020. By 2021, just Google now, even as we are talking, you'll find that Zambia was posting economic growth of 4.5%.
So do you know the reason now? Do you know the reason why towards 2021 the economy started going up? Or it was because of the confidence that the investors started placing in our economy, knowing for a fact that we're going to have a regime change in the next few months.
No. In fact, all analysts, Sishua, no credible analyst didn't see the win by the UPND.
Sishua, I would disagree with you because Sishua is not a credible analyst.
Oh, come on. You can't insult Sishua like that. There is no Zambian whose writings are published in the New York Times, Mail and Guardian in South Africa, in newspapers in London and in France. You are burying your heads in the sand.
Objectivity should stem Objectivity should stem from being a Zambian who lives in Zambia, who understands the challenges of Zambia. Sure doesn't live in Zambia. For us to conclude that you can objective analyst.
No, my brother. No, let me thank you. Please make your concluding remarks. All the lines are on. Please make your concluding remarks, and thank you for calling. Make your concluding remarks.
In conclusion, I would like to urge the Zambian people to be very objective. The judge President Hakainde Hichilema objectively and give him a vote in the next election on the 13th of August, because he has achieved, like I said, 85% of the promises he made to the Zambian people. He's given us free education, he's stabilized the economy, he's made sure that the political atmosphere in the country is good. Even though we've had few instances of violence, but you've seen his commitment. Immediately we record such instances. There's serious police action, and there's also directive from the president to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you for your thoughts, my brother. Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
God bless you, my brother.
I'm grateful. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Sorry, I took long because I had the caller that I think required attention. Make your contribution.
Thank you. Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
I'll remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Yes. So, ababa neso balera that UPND is still popular. Then abale pima popularity based on ama t-shirt bapita bale posera abantu so nga bapita bamona abantu nabafwale fyakashika bale muna kwachina mu mitima nemivotere bakavotera pa fyakashika pa ground tapali bwino aba previous kola balera ndati mu Lusaka ni stronghold mu Lusaka emo bakaliana zero kairemo tulifu we interact n'abantu abapusana. I am a saloon owner and I interact with more than 10 ladies in a day. Ambassador mwamba abantu balinaka na mfenuma market mwinanga mwaingira abantu baleti na pamulandu wako bati ubuteko bulipo n'ekipani kyabo kibomfya violence na intimidation. So abantu balatino kulande Philippines ya mutima. And even when you start a conversation in Avena asking if you're politics based on the candidate they are supporting, first, when you stand out confidently that you're supporting Brian Mundubile, Navena Robachita come out because Baratina. We care what Filachari Makaunda, Makawata wishi the person you're standing next to. So when a mamma quite a fin of a pitabale foolish abantu marigaria, a poor pitabamana vantuna for a red dream of what no meeting money red. I don't know Kubaledia zero, very afia abantu. And then na campaign alleged kawa nachitema sana for bachelanda ba makebi zuru kuluingu wako sepo feine ama uniform no kulala that free education ta kweka iduma campaign yabo aba boss balipo balera ndati abantu badesa mukwisha free education ya madongo yabo ino baleta belechita brainwash abantu nokushita blackmail abantu kaira abantu abengi tabasambirira munotalo ambassador mwajishiba abengi basenda eshe barebe abantu fo balisumira so benanga bayisa basaba bepo kwebati free education abantu bakesa ipwisha nga mwatufuni hapo so kula bana balechita benefits nabashire mona what quality of education is being provided by this government. Bena wamana kwati abana kuyafe ku school kuyafe filafini nishichapo mwana asambirira tabare mono kwa bati delivery ya masambiriro mu school mwino mubade yo mwafuri irishani mamona so ba brand Mundubile na makebi zuru beralaba uko bayo kulashimbula pakwebati kulashimbula kwebati free education yena taya kapwe ifo tukalapera na ma uniform whether bakapera na kutabakapere barelanda fifo fini ifo tulefu achakwe bati abantu bafumemo muri ubuteko twalichurire sana especially ifo ma saloon owners mwandini ma businesses yali ya punch twalifuna no kupuluka pamulando wako bati dola na ngwale twebati yali pona iturafiro ko dafira twaleo dakali ero economy obalte mokulanda chiyo ba PF bali onawire economy bali chitire inherit economy ali bad bushe kwena taba mwene COVID-19 impact yashire pa ma economies ya nucharo ngani ishta ya COVID yafikire nishi pali abantu ngatwalefu afye ngenswa otherwise batwalirire fine fo bali chitabena Brian Mundubile ma campaign trails yabo belala bokulashini belala labo kweba abantu nokushini nobubuteko ofo bwalaide badi tulayiro bunga bwa 50 kwa checha rengirati tuba voted era olubulirwa makadazi babo balera ndati ba PF eba kwata olubuli pali nomba nati mono kweba tibene bali abalubuli kairi bene bashere nachikashika kulubuli ero yine amarigari ama bena Mundubile irifya na bwino kweba tabakweta amarigari ero tapali no lechi tolubuli so ba Max chunga werere nomba muri ba ababa joine ba NRP kulanda mu vlog mu Facebook page yabo mwamona nabambo kuchitari group wa makadazi babo bale chitolubuli bati balera bako bati kalimansha abana bena bali musenda nomba kalimanshi ni evangelism yakwa desatu ara muri UPND awe mubombe bino ba ambassador mwamba.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you very much. Let's pick some more calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
This is Didi from Undola.
Didi, make your contribution.
Okay. Mwamba, first, na ababa chifumapo kutuwaseka. PF yali balandati yali badi kono. Tuwaleria twale kwata mpia mmoba ineshale bloku kwata mwanu pini ete ishandi fesha kuichita business not machine wale batiyo bashati bamwamba luno nangu wanungo mkwe mmoba kutuni mpia na koini bajira economy shobele twale pulukuta washa tu business tamanga wayapa na konde waleta ya boost business inoshita wapa na konde kuibira ishwala kapita mopali umoni otumpia kubantu bamwamba ero ififo kwena Okwekalisha sana panchende mukula boko batu wabali lata. Balenda abantu background n'abaki bali chinja kale bale batamba fye unyoto kashabo kashirane firimba firerire fyabo bale balolesha bale batena okula abaserera no musebo n'ebyoto kashabo okubatina nikwi since when 1964 kwisafika 2026 ukutampa okula mitina imunga bamfati nimundu bilana makebi wengire alabantu no wikere uli mushopu aleishani na fye masheofu alesha na fye afuma mwe bantu bakwalesa efikitalesa muri 2 months fila befya ibera lesanga nakuitafye aleta calling ilesa mundu bilese calling na makebi okufuma fyo muntu kutomfire fyo olumbo kwa kutikana ngu kamwana kanono kala temwa ngakamfati ni ababa nesu bafya kashikamisho kamwana kala butuka kwa balekata kutuba kuma namanishi mwala yakwe economy na ibipa abantu balela ensala nga mwayingirika mu makomboni umwenda imwe muleria barabati baleria kuli abashireria kuli abashakwata amabala abashakwata amalandi yakulima efo baletwe babo lyatwalera nga batwala ngati ubunga bulifye buna baletwe batye mushetukalali emisebo tempapa nga papa wakuloma emisebo balishakula isiye wakula neshapamulu akula malevo wanu mwana wa muntu meiso rest in peace na kutabala mushika awomba ba polisi mtengesha leme na pone fimuti isiyeo ukubomba nikuiso mwana wa muntu wale ingira mu mishuko amfuati kuni kubakote aikala na bakote alelanda nabo bonso kushwati yakumana nombato tuchulire fetureti fye apo bafika paladi ni CDF free education tapali no ngafika takono kufunya kofyo CDF taikumani eba CDF yo bamwamba balipoka beka namone fo ibaletelele ba president bale mulati CDF ya kubantu bonse kashi ya fe kubantu babo abantu babo aba bakaikulika na kumatishu ubushi kubaka fuma pofyo bamwamba bakaikulika na kumatishu kukuwa fyo bakwete kuri CDF bantu baleria veka ukupoka mashinga president techivi kabili mwe minister kwa muri babi mwe bomolengero imwe bene imwe mwaleti ya filifye bwino but when you are eating filifye bwino you are eating abantu bale chitasafu bale shula nomba mwamonesha abantu 5 years yapo abantu baisatumbika balelolela tupele ni president makebi fonkoneni makebi kabieni na mundu bile aho basukalesa tu asukanye kuba mwamba to alelanda ukutira muletu nasha imwe babiri alweni kataneni nomwabela lesabai katani abalelanda takwa ba opposition ta opposition inomba bengire nchito kula ilanda po ukula ilanda po chabinga kuti nafulungana letu kana fe ishaishiba katushi kuya palali mukulaibo muntu lisalula tekulaiba abantu kubomba abantu bamwe bali bapompa saba banga chabinga alenda fefya kwa fya mserufu alifuna okuwamya kapenda maji bridge alifirwa kubomba kumuyombe completely failed muntu fyo mungala bati muntu chabinga yoni chabinga fibale onaula fibonso bala bantu baonaula UPND benanga bale mula UPND ile bawamisha badya mausi sampa baingisha tikitefi bonse ala makuluku yali kumyabo yonse makuluku yali yakuli uko mwesa mukumola ba musician baba bulati lero dinefye batumpuka fyengo bo wala bafwala nefisote kumitweledi awe uyu mupeji yako aleshana uyu mupeji tani nishimwashi watifali fichitike nishina abasungapo bana mtu yakusabusha bala ni ba comedian kutumwa abula umuntu ba kuri juri bajati juri shani labafwala fimala efkulu eko baya mkuchita comedy kuri abushani ba politician bajya ba politician ababa ichababena abena rich bill balaba ichabalya God bless them balaba ichabalabana abako batsinga bayimba ngabalondolele sindu ba politician balaye ma influencer basale bapala balenda fe bonso umtende muno bale chita campaign mwe bantu sungenya ma voters card bafetin lekentu kayebika poba mundu bile na makebi tufunyepo abantu takwabo kulaipa ya abantu ifikulya kumagoyi ukususula ulo muntu kwati ninkoko Firia fyabani bwino takukulandako. Kwakaputa beka balua. Kwakaputa bayiminikati yo iminene mwe mwilachita campaign. Who does that? Bantu mufuira mwamwe nembali shonse chititira shati. Imwe nifu. Kutumwa ibini kolu badi mwe ba isizeti. Na besha means yonse na besha. Congratulations mwe bantu makebina ba muntu bileta mwako atari galia nga bali mifuike sendo kuli ababa abayivo aba nama demons nomba kwena muleya ama demons yala pa mzambia pantana muleta Zambia na iba demoni kuli imo kungo tamula ndapo mwali munyongere pa day ya kuvota kungo kumunyonga kwa tika tuishi mulanzi wako la western ku north western kwa libapo mtende bwino takwabo ya pepa kwa pepa kwa bati kungo fyafuire ekali bwino nistanchi twa mfulo kwa mwana kashiba mstashani na bapumanga filafile cyari kuri kungo taba konfwe ukuya fyo kumfo kanubaya.
Thank you Mario, thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, good evening, Ambassador Mamba.
Good evening.
Mkwai nine kuno kwakaputa mkwai mwaikale ngonse mwabombe ngonse bakonfa kumulaba soyo nchitomule bomba bamwamba techitukwishe nokulondola okutotela lesa nangonse bakonfa bachita contribute kuli umulaba senkondo twalwa kushinta pali inonchita natila shikuru atuwafu atukoseleshe mpaka fye tufishe mulimu hapo kufili okufika nomba ine chalinga ntumeko efina chibafe ready at leona kula kutikafi namba balaba tumientashi balaba umeba tumientashi baku UPND balelondolola ifyo 85% ya milimo bachitire ba PF muchalo imwe bandume
ba UPND
nacho imwe bandume skonsoko mulinga mule kutika. I just hope na mutita continue kutika tamuleke ile pakusha mwalanda fili mwalanda pantu nishalanda tumachisa mkutika podioti chichi wansi ngala mutita continue kutika. You are a good citizen mule checking embassies imwe ya moko komuli ba president akainde bali ambiri obuteko mu 2021 tuletamba namenso buche bayamba okutitikisha ifipani. Besides okutitikisha ifipani bayamba okutobolola imiteto ya chalo cha Zambia. The three arms of the state of Zambia bapasanganya batobolola justice bachitoku, legislature bachitoku, justice ya lubana. Icho chine ulelanda kuno kwakaputa mwandini bandume yandikonsoko mulini chali mfitika kumutima pali bahakainde. I'm a believer in multipartyism. Narisumine balungu n'abalusa nebo PF nasumina balungu n'abalusa nali PF nombe shibaka sabanya PF shikuru achindi kwena ishishale tusambo mwenyu nasumina balungu n'abalusa munkumbusha kwalesa balungu bapera ne mataya obukulu bwa kutungulula ekikyalo amaka kuli bakainde mutende international community ya papa n'okupapa atukwena Zambia church in any oasis of peace. But why? Kwali ifi nkupya ife ba UPND mwachitire pali alama elections ayo ba PF kutungulwa na ba lungu bashali folks react to bali kafi natitala lechitintu kwibo na ombi umulopo kusoma nomba imwe balelanda ati bakainde na UPND yenu na mchita wake 85%. Since mwaliona ula the three arms of the state, there is no way you can achieve 85% of the state. Pantu mu parliament mwaliambiri okulesha ba opposition kuilandila mu parliament mu ground of immunity mwaliuma jinti senga mwalishire mwalilengele mwapelo mlandu wa the current independent lady president mwaba pasanga nishemi kalile mulya chalula kumbi ba opposition mulya tabali kamwena umu parliament ya ikalemia akademiaka ba speaker ba Neli Muti na ba assistant wao bali aba ume ba moyo, they were ruling that parliament kwati nika company kama First Cousins. You know, First Cousins are city people with each other. You understand? If we are take it, no, but Pamela and Drive Fine, you shift like Chica Punsa competed from the look at your man when na Bill 70, but then Mutiba Wesha, no Tum Fioktila, Concord in change, I'm sorry, Concord in change. Tetichile National Assembly. babwesha mpaka bill 7 yapita na alikwata picture yapa YouTube uko ba justice minister ba Kansune baile mukulandana one of the chiefs ku northern Zambia uko balondo lwela ife chintu chikalabumba mwe bantu mwe pakupisha ide bill 7 ife amuseluselu pali UPND trailer that namuna ipendero 85% since they broke the three arms of the state I'm standing outside if you take over Walfianya in just disrupting the three arms of the state. But I appreciate all the Zambians having meaninati to take to Mufunya. 85% of whatever Mlepengarang was down in it to fix the matter in the way I've known the peace in Zambia, in the way I've known the constitution of Zambia, from white and unique. So imeyama ukomlela ndati 85% ni 5 years fi issue really leo mfika kuchinjina bayama ngamwa ofyo omwana kashi ino mwana imufya panga nda kuti amara yazinaka kwembe na makanavas batatafya labaisa abati awe nkala musunga bwino ngakisane finefi elo aya saplana kukenda kwembe elo na tropical amakanavas yapo ayamba nokufala tropical kuya yellow kuya red ngani kumutwera akatambala takuli mu African Zambian culture ingi turafale fitambala kufiriro na kuchiriro cha kulupwa lwaye nuko kwine kumako au pirwa takuli na akatambala kumutubala musoka wira nombo yini taichefana ko kuchiriro mweba alengefyo ni bala batata fyala bamupa tababa help mumi kalile ya upachuko na mutaba kwete mpia what am I trying to say mlili pinda ndesa kama president akainde baye bya bena Zambia ati ubuteko utapalifu mwala mchitira uteko ngatabule mchitira fisuma ko gufunya hapo maleta pogumbi nga imwe 85% mwabapera nisa bantu banutulera nda abantu tabaliye mikuitatu bantu panotulera nda kupata hata kuhaba umuti bantu panotulera nda ba minister ba health ba nabalaba na mayo ba yakulanzi bali bekete na ama esi container fyamiti kufamu kumafamu umuti wa kwikala mpatala munche ndia kuti bali pima ama temperatures kuba hapa imati 85% ile bombeka. This government has a lot of errors that to point to amlisa mfwe unganalanda penalty the three arms of the state bali ona ulaba akainde chapter international museluselu waisa pali UPND apa kwa fati na pa family na tupende shanya nimpendera pendera abalela ndati kwa balela ndokuna tuchindikana nati kaliye kuliyo uteko. I can tell you pali uteko pali umowa iminire sana palupwa ile fumo fyambo kumukosela. I have answered that wikatishe no waide mkuba vote lawo ifoto ashala tuletu kwa na ba PF tufuire ukula pitulula mufinto fitontulu te pamula ndo kwa bati mulalia mweka zati muchitemwe ine kwa one I can even say I eat. But ngimina Zambia nyingi kwa taba mnyina ni kuntola kukasaba kumpika na kuisa ninji kana kuno kwa kaputa omutende ule kano kubako bale pepeka candidate women pali opposition party imwe ba yama konsoko buli. Have you ever been in this Zambia uko opposition ile challenge twana ba ruling party kula bali pila corruption ba ingirire mu state house ba kaindi ati bala ipuisha nisa bantu ebali na corruption mucheni ndebo mtie chibemba mucheni emo bafukatire corruption emlenda ukenongo nensupa shafyonse he is the one corrupting everybody. Did you watch the incoming MP for Lundazi Central, Brenda Nyirenda? Uko bali ku radio, is it radio? There's a radio something ku Lundazi uko. Uko bale bachita interview, uko bale pongolo la mashu openly. Ati this government approached her. Ati babe niba vice president. Muntu washa New York. Wuteko washa. Nifinshale chita accomplish. Ali nyantila PF. Nyantila. And he is limited in thinking, in planning. Uyu muntu mleti ta support at 5 years taikwene nisha ipingile obulambaka lati within sorry I'll fix it wishe ali chite limit ati yati pa 2 o'clock ngapo kulapa nishi $1 yabateni kwacha according to him 24 hours there apwa ingile. That's why he's surprised that utupani no longa ka NRPUP kabuka fyelelo bayama ukokozo komulika fa ina mashubi muchipingo island ati a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 before the Lord. And before the Lord, 1,000 years are like a day. Elo kabili, who despises the day of small things? Even now, he's calling his fellow opposition leaders, at small boys. But you have small boys. Now, when you have Kabantu, Bana Babantu Badia. nangufe chisungu chine mulela ndecha mapinda please mule womfya kwa mapinda ya chivemba sorry amapinda yako atako mchinji because chivemba chali kwa ta drone line kuti chakufunde pindela kuti ulande nabo lingene nabo ni mwakuti ulilandire kuli balaba kuchirire. So idomuleta support abo ba president Hakainde mube ko kwinda to abapata his Zambian but every country look at his campaign mode ngabali ku northwestern kuli abali baeba abantu abo bantu bali mipata ifwe ma northerners naba kunu apula konso kumuchinga itsumano ati twali pata aba ba ku northwestern twali upira ko kula twali ufyako twali kwatla pongo shikulia twali kwata nabe shikulu kulia carrying surnames from there so kuti twapata shani bale bantu 1 2 he comes ku northern province na ku eastern he starts telling us ati mule united vane uyu mutima wa ifi Muzambia tuakana tulelanda pamuela atonyene anonymous mwakaputa aya mwe Zambia ni wise national registration card na lingira mu system na ingile mo kalero napokele registration card napokele registration card liyali mwala ishwe myaka yandi ngana liba mu registration card system ya Zambia chishinala ichitla identify ati anonymous pamuela because it's ibalo iliyefunde yakuti ibalo ero abantu mulebe pa yakasuba nokushiko yashani mwaipa yao na mayo of mina kopa belti part of Zambia of makota tuishiwe wino mwaipa yo bushiku I need wrong action ati I feel my Katuishi parts have gone missing instant mob justice parapeni papa umuntu bamwipa icho chiro following it hapo bashiko bushiku those things imwe bayamo koko muri are ugly things I'm spitting pamwera uteko washani uwo abantu balefa kwati tunyelele abantu imwe we have no 2 3 4 Zambias to go to abantu bali mutukabaya muchikoko bali mutukabaya ma foreign lands ukuthi nathi nalanda sana balachikata na pafi umuntu akuila kale kumwikata beka fiba kainde bakwata genuine riches kimwe mo followers yabo tuleti no kulanda okulande chishinkati balaisanjikata kwakaputa kunona mpepeka MP West to be itale ikalako campaign ba mundu bire baperera pansama kuwekerako what kind of a human being is this Hakainde Mulechita support imwe? Look, how many children do you have and grandchildren? Under government Asha Foundation, ya mfumfu ntungwifi. Alandati, apo mwaikala mchalo, 90 days ewa pela campaign period. 90 days ya tampa, talechita blow the whistle for campaign. Okay, ya tampa late mukati, aya putukila, bambina, aya kuisa, aya wesha, yo, uko ndita kuli kubako na fimbi, fine. But shirashi kuwapo tukisha walashi kwekesha po awe ulenda fenendeke kama mwela. It's not so true that other opposition leaders tabako itempesha ndekina abakwata but ilifunde yakutila Air Force commander or captain tale yasuka abama opposition parties ngabalomba ko kuti tukwate air clearance. I don't blame that Air Force commander-in-chief of the Zambia masoja niba Hakainde right now. That's minisha apo kwa vela campaign yako Hakainde miaka he jets around Zambia, he flies around helicopters Zambia konse alaya malungu konse alipita ala landing akonse nomba wena banangwe chakana mwene nitakwita Grace yabalesa all these things he's doing closer kwenda balerusa mwange nchire tukalipa ifena pakumuna abantu fo balipaiwa mwamuna ko umuntu kuyamuipaira pakulisha akalimba kalipa channel ya ku KBN uluyimbo balerisha ku channel ya KBN tabeshi beda kufimo only to be told abakuno uluyimbo lwalira ingile makebi ingile mundu bila ingile mob justice panopeni yazandamuka or one person achitana dina announce palia takubula ikatako abantu bati no ikatako mpaka bapuma umuntu 2-3 days afwa nimfashasha nifyo chose fila bachita treat baba garing combo imaba yama konsoko kombuli kwena run through all these wrong things you've seen ama opposition leaders nama supporters their mistreatment they have suffered ngamulenge bati na mu PFF chali then you are not a good citizen ngakwali upumbo kwaji ubunangwa kuli ilyankulo na pali ino ya kwa Hakainde must change things so that we give them a credit to say kutwali then po 2021 2020 2026 2031 Tompele nsambu pantu tuamuna firefiru wotwali na fyo bali abambi bachitire tatwa wekeshepo. Even in families it's like that. Munga ndango ole kula. Bawisona banu kwa tuwale kukanye chinechi. Babika pofe kuti hawe nyuyuwe wawino kule chipume chikulu sana muli yangande chipumbu chikulu. Such that even the village will know kwa bati chichipu wa msumba. Chafia ramudi yonganda. But in the same house they will come distinctive children. But that's a question. If you have a baba, they will quickly say, Alamunda di muchahu. Wopu wafewaho vya muntu through abafyashu kuchikana msta correct. No baba akainde, he can't even allow to be corrected. Ngo ulefo bakite correct bali bika kale cyber law bala sa kwikata. Weza to aikale fe imwe yama in your saying by UPND na bakita achieve 85% of their works in 5 years. Wofi maybe mulali yako ni mwebe ni muledia. Mwami bichacha winga tweli omulomo ku South Africa. Kuno jaji kanwalia.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you, Mayo. Thank you very much. We'll be closing soon to allow, we are watching football. We are staying late, so we need to time for people to wind up the program. So, pantwale buka kumacha abantu kutamba bola. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador. Ni Wamunkonge, charikale sana.
Bamunkonge mwabombeni landeni po.
Mkwaye Ambassador ine chakubalira po first na lala na pafi tukumine. Already Ambassador mwetamwa be papa manambazi. Tureli dinga elections aya so ngambanga chakuba twasanga tureli dinga ma elections. Tufuire twachita protect kuri dinga kwe, so there is no way now kwata distinction. Again, urefo kwa mukora berengo kuchesha but insurede ilexambiri urefo kwa mukoberengo kuchesha nishina ukwata kale one detu chiwererere wa mukoberenga umubare pitana abanensu barefo abakwate distinction yotkwete nomba twarasunga shari distinctions yesu ndero mbako bambasada kuba mtu abanensu ababa tubutukire ukupanga unity abatukonkere nabambi abanensu abasa tukonka mu PF pamozi na mu tonse PF pamozi alliance ama president sibentunguru shishonse aparumba kwa kufika ba PF tonse pamozi alliance nga mwafuma kula pura ikare mpanshi mpange strategy musaranganeko bambirese ku ground bese batwafufu twala sta protect ama votes pange nyama strategies abantu basarangane wampa ground ya twatotela okushunguruka mwashunguruka nomba inamba umurongo wa pawafika wakulisha instead kwa na ikula already ama votes abantu nabatupera so nangu tushunguru kwa umurongo tapali impact of yara kwata because abena Zambia already nabasumina nangu twaenda abantu abali 4 abena Zambia already nabastasha nabasumina so hapo tulintunguru shishingi katuchiteshani katuisa sarangane tugonfya mano pamo mumone fo mara ipere futurwa ukumuna vote protection ofo yaraba ma presidents onse ababashara na limiche tekera kutuma tontonkanya kwa fintu isen ku ground tuse tufunde abantu ofo yaraba pali vote protection sare ninche ndesha pusana the southern province banga president ngabali ya north western ukombo kupita mu campaign ukumuna fo twara sta plant vote protection lekenyi ba makeb zuru na bamundubire bakonkanye pona bambi abantu ama speakers bambi abashiri ntungurushi benge kona bena mukushitashani mukushunguruka katwise tubombe nchito ya vote protection iri important pero ambassador afifi ama chechi tafipuse nene filmari pa yomuntu ukweba taimba urumbo bamwipaya na babe naba chechi abari panga ma crusade pa kuingirira filimi kubakakanga bari bakaka so ndeko selesha bena Zambia na mwamune fyo which means we baba mtu bena tabafo ya mapepo fubare extra target kubikure rumburation ali akwayesa bali stashani bali saranganya mwamona remote mwapena na JJ Banda insambo because kura kuchipata quality kefin tofo twa mfwa nombari abalefu ababike kwa mapepo ya kweba tumpasho wa mushiro wikire baya chiringanya kweba turompasho wa mushiro wikira so fwe bantu no mana ndomo tulipare ya ma elections rangopo twikere wa muntu twirara bokushintirira muri lesa mwalimu nane bishira abantu babera mu ballot paper nikurusero wakwaresa kumaka Yesu ngani kumaka Yesu nga twali chashani nga twali nga bali tufunya po ballot paper nga tatwali po ballot paper nga tatwali po kuma elections nombali sali puramu so na papera mwa leaders wonse na bambi ama advocate mwa bale konka ba president isen tuwelele ku ground tuisuri abantu amenso tumone fo bala sta protect ambenyu kwamba campaign na imwe ya ibera ya vote protection kwamba ku sta sensitize abantu na muishiri kwa mkwali na mutamwendele na ba president ingachako bati mwa sta protect ama votes ni muri mukuru ukaramba sana wakweba tekikubyo kumiraba okuchira twende ekigumura pandi twaraba nga bachipante pante waraba kweba toko bapantira bora muchibansa wonse oko barore ekigumura katusaranga ne mukwayi tupushe ekigumura opo mperere mukwayi wa mwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, bamwamba mwagombeni ne nameless. Katushinga mlengo uva pantu ba mungonge bachira putauka sana mlengo mfwa.
Mkwai.
Okay, thank you so much Bamwamba. Bamwamba, we say that one word is enough for a wise man, which simply means a very brief warning or explanation is enough for an intelligent person. Why am I saying so? I'm referring to Mr. who had just given a very good analysis about the PF. He sounded to be so much intelligent, and I do respect him very much. Yes. Lelo chonde fokulanda chakwe bati, please, mwila tuchita brainwash, mule tumfuira koluse. Pantu inganda imonga na ikwate fia kudia, it doesn't mean that everyone has enough to eat. If we are ordinary Zambians, I hope Mr. Balengumfwa, and you had actually you really, contained yourself very much because you had to give an explanation, and I do respect him very much. Tatanga chakwe bati mulengumfwa, ne Ulanda, ni never ordinary Zambian, twalikwata nama families. Tulechula. Muilalandira abantu bonse, mule ilandira mwebene. Lero echonde lomba kulimwe chakwe bati, please do not bring numbers. Don't talk about numbers. Mufuiri okumonefe abantu bekere pano isamba lya chalo nefe bale chula. Pantu umuntu ushire chula etyalire ife tulelira. Tata, you urged every Zambian person to give a vote to UPND. I disagree so much, and I'm actually urging you and your team to give the vote to Tonse Alliance. I urge you so much, and do not pretend. Please, Twami Papata. Do not bring numbers. Look at the ordinary Zambian. Look how people are suffering. Go around, go everywhere. Mumo nefie mishishi abadilapidated abantu bapita. Icharo ichesu icha Zambia. Ke Lusaka yeka. Tulepita Makairo Rodi. At no, we've got a great Lusaka. Mwapita kona mma compoundi, mwamlanefi abantu baika. Mwene mu Lusaka umo. Go around and see how people live. Nami papa tatata. Elo muilata alikaba Bamwamba is a very good analyzer. Elo tabesa Bamwamba mukulande fia bule balande fintu ifikankala. So please Twami papata. Imwe bene imwe. You've misled Baakainde. Baakainde could be a very good president, but tamubebe fishinka. Elo imwe, you are scared. You are so much scared of looking down. Mule eba ba president fishinka. Mule eba fishinka ba president. Na mse banya ba president. Bamwambe financial fokulanda. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll take the last cause. We need to go to allow you to watch football. Ndita mwabombe nyama mweba anilande po.
Mfumu ya bena mwanga ndetumira kupa peoti.
Ndita mfumu ya bena mwanga.
Mkwa eva ambassador icho ndefu kulanda wali konsendi ile chitiko kweba timu wa Tonse PF pamoja Alliance. Nawe mini kama candidate 2-2. For example, ngamwa loisha sana Lusaka Copa Belt. Mwarasa ngokweba ti Meyolo. Nangula MPs mwarasa ngati bali 2-2. Mamona kuli aba pala pi naba kweni RPUP. ushe ifita balemona ba president ba planning Mundubile nenkongani yabo cause ifika tuchita cost ama election mwarasa ngokwebata bene abantu babiri aba bale kitadi campaign bene babiri bamobene so bale abantu babiri bale tinta na warasa ngati meya umona emina kwene ala PUP umweminine balizoluti party mama so ubu afya bonse obakapera chance ba ruling party so bafuira okulolesha po kumona po ngakusha bamono oli pa ground ni nani basha po mono mbanga shaisa abati bonse bayiminina balya ikatuchita cost ya my election so bamwamba mwe baranda kona shene ntungushisha mushifishe message shishiroleshe pali chupandu ichi chintu ndechimona chira chiretwalirira tapale befiri fyonse fire konga pokwe bati fyachinjali mbimwe bamwamba mukwata po wishibiro timwa iba kwa bekala charo twice bokwe bati finfirende fine bantu nabemini na bonzi babiri nomba ko ali babantu bali mu mwine nabapangala ansi bambi okulatinta na futi wa mobeni nikwise ko twala bamwamba.
Thank you. I'll address that matter. I'll find out from the leadership people of Canada Shidio. I thought they had resolved it, but
mwarasanga kuchingola kitwe paliba meyolo beminine babiri. Nomba nishinifinshi.
Them quiet. I'll find out from them. Yeah. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Mwamba, good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry for the Egyptians. Even me, I was supporting Egypt, but it was heartbreaking. Sorry, if you have a ball for fin. Bamwamba, the fire fear, then the Kofeka history panono. Kuti abana kufyalwa abafyerwe mu after 2001 and must understand the way we have moved in this Zambian politics to be where we are, and today we have the president in the name of President Hakainde Hichilema. It is very important abana kufyalwa bale ishiba na history. 1990 the movement of multi-party democracy has been formed, led by interim chairman, the late Arthur Wiener. Arthur Wiener came from Western Province, together with the brother of Scott Wiener. These are noble people who were trying to save the Zambian people, regardless where they came from. Today, we have got the Princess Woak Akashamba to Alexitawena Lewanika, and Bambita Chitala. These were pioneers who even drafted the MMD manifesto and part of MMD constitution. I'm saying this because our current president is using regional tribes to undermining others. So how did we move from that? When Kaunda cut his term after the election of 1988, he introducing multi-party. But after Wiener, Barrister understand who was supposed to become the president through his brother Bascota Wiener, and they allowed Chiluba to stand. Now I'm saying this, where did Chiluba came from? Chiluba came from Luapula province. Where did Arthur Wiener and Scott Wiener were presidents? Akashamba come from Western Province. We had even former Prime Minister in the unique government who was part of MMD. It was our late Alfred Mlemba. Ababa no kushobora ishiba ilo muntu who aite mwambo kula Western Street. Chiluba was born out of Micho and they realized to identify the leadership. Chiluba president. Ndia putula shaba na beshiwe. 201, Chiluba wanted to proceed and stand for the third term. The people of Luapula province, including myself, who was a district chairman for Chipata district, opposed Chiluba to go for the third term. I was very close with the lady Potembo. People like Ernest Mwansa, Elizabeth Chitika, a lot of people came from Luapula. opposed Chiluba's third term, including General Mianda from Western Province, Christian Tembo, including Vincent Malambo, the legal minister and local government minister, the late Axon Sejani. So you can see, even Garin Combo is part of MMD. You can see that when somebody who was a leader in Twichivi, Amazambian Wale regards from the region where they come from to condemn. Now, today, we have a person who has got no history, not even their parents. Twalikwata ifikulefya wefya rushisho buntungwa. Wakaunda tukwata wapanji. Na tukwata ku Southern Province, Abena Mainza Chona, you can miss Abena Maxwell Beani, you go to Western Province, Mundia, you go to Southern Province, the late Harimwangankumula, you go to Northwestern Province, when Amfrim Lemba, you go to Luapula, when Justin Chimba, Simon Mwasaka Pope, to mention few. But because the constitution of this country allow Hakainde Hichilema to become the president because he's a Zambian, despite his parents have got no history, now the constitution allow him to become the president. Now the challenge I'm facing Wamwamba here is the president, here is a person who the constitution has allowed him to become the president. He is trying to undermine the unity of which our forefather created. From the Harimwangankumbula to even Chiluba, to even Mwanawasa, Rupia Banda, Sata, Edgar Lungu is trying to use regional politics without justification. President Hakainde Hichilema himself came on the Zambian platform election in 2021 and he started promising some Zambian people whatever he's going to do. And today we have people who comes on your platform start talking about HH as achieve 80%. Mamande fokulanda kumweba sambirira. Ba PF bashire 12 billion credits. Today we are sitting on the 17.5 billion. That external. Ba HH wale boss at now bakwata 6.5 billion in the reserve. By HH na bakongola 5.5 billion. Tabatwebele fienda lama efo shabombele. Nomba, inefo na ishiba business ya market. Ngana ukwata 5 billion mu reserve. Nenkongole 5 billion. Nishtapani ndalama esho kwete. Nombecho wa HH wale bossing na wene reserve na bakwata na 5 billion because ba HH ba ile kwa MF kwa sta negotiate. Ukweba tishinkongole tukwete tuilipira pali inonshita tukalekera kuntashi nombecho shine nkongole balipira shani eli abantu obale isapa platform atechechi you have to pay the credit inkongole sho balipira shamusango shani because inkongole nga wastari wa stwala kuntashi tekweba tuna ulipirawe. I think Zambian, this is the right time to learn the fishing ta. We are not going to go anywhere. Then ombako mabulu besu amlamu shesu ukwamba ku Southern Province. Belamu tina HH cannot frozen. The whole progress and intelligence of the people of Southern Province. Ilo tuwale sambidaba mwamba, sorry to take for your time. Wale tuwebo kweba the hardworking people in this country where it is called maize belt. It was Southern Province. And they come and frozen the whole future for the people of Southern Province. And also, our brothers from other regions, Northern and Eastern Province, we rejected this third term because it was not supported by the constitution, neither even the Zambian people. Whatever HH is doing, should do, if he's doing a collective thing, reject. He support this country is not going to go anywhere. I thank you, Amwamba.
Thank you very much. We'll be taking the last calls. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make a contribution.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Muvita from Kafiwe.
Muvita from Kafiwe, make your contribution.
Though I've just tuned in, I was on a long journey, but I think I have only two things to contribute on. I don't know what was being discussed before, but I can hear it's the issue of figures. What I can say about this issue of figures is this issue of figures which people talk about. Let's take, for example, whether it's inflation or whatever. People might have money, but this money is only in a few people. It might be foreigners or these friends to the people in the ruling party. So, but the rest of the Zambian, an ordinary Zambian on the street there, doesn't have the money, doesn't have an income, doesn't have food on the table. So this issue of figures people talk about is really misleading. You can say Zambians are very rich, but maybe only half of the Zambians are rich. The rest of the people, they are poor. So this issue of figures is neither here or there. Then maybe the other thing also I would like to advise, because I just tuned in, I was on a long journey, I haven't been following up today, is on the issue of our rallies, the Tonse Pamozi rallies. Of course, there's an improvement at that now. Before that, the issue for the microphone, I think we need to talk about it. Usually, it's very difficult to get what the presidents, the speakers are saying. But at least in the last 1 week, I think there's a bit of improvement, like from the first one. But we still need to do more in terms of the PA system of the Tonse Pamozi rallies. We have to work on those things. I think if there are people listening, they should who put up those PA systems, they should really work on them so that if we are able to hear, the speakers are audible enough to be heard. I think those are the two contributions I can make. I was on a long journey.
Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you.
There was an issue of figures.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make a contribution.
Hello.
Hello.
Mwabombeni mkwaiba mwamba.
Ndita mawe badishani.
Awe wino, Mrs. Nyambe from Chingola.
Mrs. Nyambe, make your contribution.
Mkwai. You know, abantu balanda wino sana kwena muno chungulo. We have a president that is very, very divisive. Because Lyonse ba HH ngabaya ku Southern Province. Kulando kwebati vote for me so that we don't go back to you people being beaten as soon as you get off the bus at Intercity. Ukobaya kuskongo na kwena bayalanda chimochine. Muno Muzambia, that is why we have carried over the slogan of One Zambia, One Nation. Because that is what our independence fathers taught us. And we don't want to go away from that. Tatuatala tumfu hapo kwa tumutonga afuma ku Southern Province aya ku Northern Province bamuipaya. Tatuatala tumfu hapo kwa tumubemba afuma ku Northern na Nkuapula Province aya ku Western Province bamuipaya. Tatuatala tumfu hapo kwa tumuntu afuma ku Western Province bamuipaya ku Eastern Province because of tribe. We have never killed one another since the time of the tribal wars. So nomba be naba president idiri ashi uko barefumya ni kwisa. Ndefo aya abantu muno Muzambia bonfuikishe. Beshi byo muntu ngaleleta akapaturula. Mwebende mwe bantu mweba ikala bwino nishitaba bwino. Nga wanshitwala vote lana kabiri. Especially awaba chisa to say no, vote for HH. Bonsabale umfo, we are not voting for HH. Because ngatwamu pera na imbi 5 years. We are going to be divided. Ero nobu fibwa chiramo. Ubunga bala ndiwa kwa ati bakawesha pali 50 kwacha bulikwi. Fiwa bala ndiwa kwa ati bakawesha pali 10 kwacha ilikwi. Dola bala ndiwa kwa ati kwacha ikalachita trade 10 kwacha to $1 ilikwi. Fionse fiabu fieka. And he must not lie. Mumarali umubale pitature unfa. Balela ndokwe bati no load shedding. Ba PF baletere load shedding. Echo yali load shedding, yes, but it was for 2 hours, for 3 hours. The longest we went without power under the Patriotic Front was 6 hours. Not load shedding about PCM, we have 20 hours without power, 16 hours without power. Abantu if you and he can come back and lie to us again. He has even forgotten, in case the people of Zambia have forgotten, our president came on air and told us the information to say, when it is June, the experts in ZESCO, the engineers, they tell the government to say, this is how much water we have, and we can only regenerate so much power between June and December before the rains come. And that's how they know how to manage the load shedding. Number Bena, even when they were advised to say this is how much water that we have, and this is how much power we can generate, and this is how much power we can give to Zambians, they still sold at the expense of the Zambians. To say no, load shedding,
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you very much.
Ifo febe na Zambia bala tuwebo kwati tulibanangani. Nombo munangani ni nani? Mabrani mundubile na balanda pali na kulumutinta. Na kulumutinta aima luchelo aya oda tomato aleshi supermarket. Na kulumutinta aima luchelo aya oda aya senda tute aleshi shapakona ya musebo. Mwangwazi aima luchelo aya pa bus stop aya mkupunjira mabasi pakuti afole. Taxi driver aima luchelo. Bus driver aima luchelo. Ule womba mu office aima luchelo. Na businessman wina aima luchelo. Kuti mwalanda ati mulibanangani. Alo munangani ndefu abantu wonfu ikisheta kwa abo munangani. Umunangani untu alala fye no kulia chapwa. Muno muzambia tatua babanangani tulabombesha. You cannot actually put wealth to hard work. Both a person that is rich and a person that is poor, they all work hard at their own level. Effort to ikala. So munfu ikishemwa bena Zambia te wakwe show you muntu kupera kwe vote. Kanofya abo bene abantu abashire bono kuchuchutiko kwa abantu bale pitamu. Aho bamwamba na atotera mulebomba sana omulimo usuma twalirire mkwai.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador. Na wera fe mukwasika kobaraba n'ensu bali aba pressing imbitawa ishiwo kwebati ba president besofyo bakita chimona uli omwana wa kwebati bamupera leakage pakulemba exam ba invigilator bamusuminisha na leakage kuingira naye na mu exam bamupera no kwebati ambyo koporola pali leakage ro asapona efo baba kitire pacharo ekibaye kuri ba Edgar Lungu bali bapere leakage no kuingira naye na mu exam room why na landirevi ba Edgar Lungu ro baleya bali pekenye fertilizer year 2 season bale pekanya 2 e programu yali aba PF PC ku fertilizer yalenda in 2 years bali bashirire fertilizer year 2021 ne year 2022 yali available not kufuma ku Saudi Arabia lero yali ifye muma depots bali isangire yali kala free bali isa shamataba aya kweba tukutara aya kweba tinangutu alikwete chilala for 3 years abantu kuti valeria again balisa bashira na Konkora Copper Mines baipoka baisha kuchalo na Mupani Copper Mines baipoka baisha kuchalo balisa bura na nani kale na indeni na yena bali ishire in press ne misebo shonse basha babapangira na maskulu aya kweba kuti bayingisha ama teachers babapangira ne fatara shya kweba kuti bayingisha mo aba bomfya ama nurses basabura na mayanda ba police bale firo kuingisha bapanga mayanda yengisana yakoba tibaraba police abakwata ama family bale ikara bachindama notu kurara mutumando tumakebin nomba bashira abayiche ebara chance abapere yako tibastari recruit ba police na bambi pantuna bakwata bakwikara na mayanda ba migration firafine so baba pere leakage abene bafiro kopokoro kukoporola bafira okupasa so awabalera ndawona bena chikopo tabeshi wefe balera ndapo because barungu bali mwene pantanshi we muntu tete bakushire fertilizer for 2 years bateka 5 years 2 years tufunyemo yali fertilizer y'abarungu again tuse tufunyemo amataba yo tuingalia for 3 years which means yonse 5 years barungu ku farming bali ishara batupekanishisha okufika na lero potuli nombo mulandu wakwe bati umuntu obapere chikopo afiro okuchitefiri fyonse pantu chikopo chikopo na ngumwinga chipera leakage tech pass na pera bamwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Daniel from Cape Town. Good evening, Honorable.
Daniel, make your contribution.
It's been long. It's because for me, I've already won. I'm not scared of UPND. We are done and dusted. Just a few words for the people in Zambia. You are going to vote for UPND at your own risk. And you've noticed that most people about UPND, they are in diaspora. And you keep on saying, yo, diaspora. But even in Saraika, they fine. So, to those people in diaspora, if anybody ukavotera UPND, akapwane Saratakudino Kumutumine MP. And just to the Tonse Alliance, let them keep pushing and avoid Okuba in confrontation with UPND. But if Okula Pesha Tonse Alliance, we are a non-violent party and let's continue to be non-violent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm about to get the last cause. Call quickly so we hear you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Yes, good evening.
Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Yeah, Ambassador, my contribution, I'm just surprised the way the campaigns are going and looking at the way the president is promising. Ama promises Yambi. For the first 5 years, they should look back, West Africa to date. The president has been lying to the people. Fertilizer, a few and others. This time around, our president never surpassing, but it's a promise. I've seen Badia. So what has been happening? Reflect. So abantu should reflect sana ububufi ubakobati tabwaka putukawe and going forward I am like abantu bale munaya after 13th August elobake sa mono chachinati chachine budabwali bufi because yake saputuka. We've seen more countries Zambia kubati ngabale panga my elections they will still have power. I've been to South Africa. We've seen now South Africa was being load shedded every day. But after my elections, I'm right here, Aluva. So if same will happen in Zambia and they will think, Yaisa Feni, Takudi Amensh, suddenly, Amensh Yapa Mukaliba. But it's not like that. So Avantre should reflect very well, no kululekesha, what the president is telling the truth. Ababa BM8 na Makebi, they've got a better chance to lead the country direction is from than a person who is lying to the people. Bernard Mango was asked some questions. She couldn't even explain properly. Ukulola kulanda pali inflation. No Londo Labuno vice president, but she's a person who are dealing in parliament. And how do you expect abantu bakesemiya for with such ideas? So abantu must reflect bwino and look forward to what this current government is up to. Kuwela from power no kuisa mkona ole chalo and abantu bakachula more than balechula at the moment. And balabonsa baleba support abale tati yo ama celebrities and so all those people, most of them bali kwa Milan. Bale for kuisa bapususha. So them they think Bama celebrities bale mafati they are helping you by your UPNU. They but Zambians Baba Fake White, they know what is behind the support the UPND at the moment. But wait for them after the next government comes in. Elo mukesa munati, bosi balaba de supporter. Some will free away. So Velabo saying Obama Sampa is going there, he's just wasting his time. And those are the people that are trying to portray Kobati. Mozambia, how can you start a good party? They don't answer those people, and that's where it's supposed to be. They must focus on Kulalanda, not because the president does not have a good language. Boys, no. But at the moment, I want to let's focus on this government here at the moment. Pakistan go per 13th August. People must vote wisely and protect vote. Balaba Chalanda 35% UPND has done this. It's a very shameful. Anyway, it is his opinion, but it's very shameful. Ukuroresha na abantu ofu bale chula kwa kaputa kwa shani kwa pusana. Abantu bale lala nensala and the person is busy praising abantu. Abale panga if he showe mu government. Corruption is very high in UPND and only those who are prosecuted, you will have a connected government. But have connected government, they are protected. And the constitution, these people they can even come and change the constitution after my elections. It can happen like that. So be very, very careful and vote wisely. Thank you, Mamamba, for contributing.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Mamamba Bashan.
How are you?
This is Zimo from Livingston.
Bamwama Bombeni.
Oh, no, Mamamba.
Make your contribution. You are our last caller.
Thank you so much. First of all, Zambians consequently, I won't say about the man mu diaspora. If the factor contribute is lessons to picking from the European government 5 years were taken. Our European wa president ngabarufyanye chintu kiri chonse efe weshibya ifintu nabarufyanya ora muna ma supporters babo kuba defender kwa chitike fiku defender for president babo wena bari fe right every time. And when you look at that kind of leadership, even their own supporters now are even struggling to convince anyone to vote for UPND because Balesumisha Tungurusha Kurufyanya, and they would do approve it as long as no other support. So I think these are some of the reasons if in Tungurush fresher picking, especially a patria kuma elections in August. In Tungurush tashifure shire tino kula mfwe fishing ku bantu. As long as fishing, like if you are as long as fishing, you always state your position. And I think if we were to lead the Zambians nicely, I think to fully travel the kula mfwe fishing ku bantu wezo. Na vela abantu bale tu eshara abantu bale surround Ntungurushi. Ngabamati Ntungurushi lero fyani Ntungurushi kueva dawa pata chiri bwetu. Pantu kuntanshi. Echo tutina chako kutira ti Ntungurushi nunga lero fyanya tamwade control. Ngakupo na bonse chara moneka fatumara ponena veshapamo. So ndetubira going forward even Zambian politics, I think bakaende chema bafo kushapinga Zambian politics that Zambians upi ubufya Zambians tabafwaya Zambians bafo kubinga nangu ifintra shupa but abantu Zambians bafo afyo kubefishinga natotravamo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're coming to an end. It will allow you to watch your football and also allow you to rest. Today we are analyzing 37 days before we go to general elections. Zambia is hosting and is holding presidential, parliamentary and local government elections. And how is it looking 37 days before elections? Like I said, 2 months before, President Hakainde Hichilema was clearly in the lead because he said there was no opposition and there was no other candidates that appeared firm. But we have seen in the last, especially the last 6 weeks, that the people of Zambia are the opposition and they are rallying around Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu to the extent that this program can say so far, 37 days before elections, Brian Mundubile is leading, is a major force and is leading in this election. The president is trying to do a fight and a comeback. He has held various political rallies, but we've done an analysis. So far, it appears that it is tilting towards Brian Mundubile. We are going to conduct an opinion poll on this, and we are going to hear from you. We gave all benefits for the two leading candidates. For the president having, state institutions, being an incumbent, and for example, he has done almost 5 provinces in 5 days because he's enjoying that. And the two gentlemen, Makebi and Brian Mundubile, are struggling on that point because they haven't been given an air permit for their helicopter. And this has actually even helped because their stretch on the roads has allowed them to meet as many Zambians as possible. But it is eating on their time and fatigue. Flus and coughs are setting in. They've been away from Lusaka for many days, over 2 weeks. But it has paid off with a number of rallies, especially Kasama has turned out to have been the largest rally, even beating Kitwe. We'll see how Lusaka will do. Today, the two leaders split. One was in Luingu to address the Luingu rally, and the other was in Lunte to address the Lunte rally. With that plan work properly, I would propose that they should stick to the two of them appearing on the rallies. But the other forces must be deployed. The other candidates and especially the parliamentary candidates and others in the alliance probably should be deployed to go and prepare before the major presidential candidates come. So they will be the two, Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu, who start Elwa Plat rally tomorrow. They are starting with the Mwansabombwe rally, and then we'll see how they will come down up to Samfya before they hit Copperbelt and Lusaka. There are many people calling. I've closed. Watch football, and let's have another program to continue to review. A day in politics is a long time. Someone has written that you had said you talk about the remaining candidates such as Honorable Hari Kalawa and Fred Membe and what do they need to do. It's a pity that I missed that. It's not something I can do in in just a by the way issue. I think they would require that we address that matter. I just advertised that I would speak about that, but it is clear that the leading candidate is President Hakainde Hichilema and Brian Mundubile. And so far, Brian Mundubile has an edge. The other factors in the elections we'll come and discuss again. So many of you kept on talking about the messages. Yes, I'd said we'll discuss the messages. What messages should be communicated? Again, you know, in this analysis, I didn't tackle much on that. But the divisive language by the president is of concern to many callers and many Zambians, that the president seems to have two sets of messages. When he's in the area of his strength, Southern Province, Northwestern, Western, and Central Province, he speaks using divisive language, threatening people that they'll be beaten, they'll be threatened, they'll not go to Lusaka, and that they'll be denied development. And when it comes to the Northern Circuit, Luapula, Northern Muchinga, Eastern Province, he changes the language and he talks of unity, that Zambia is one Zambia, one nation, that we should work together as one Zambia, one nation. Yet he uses divisive language on the other side. The issue with the Tonse Pamosi Alliance, I think the issue of education, health, and other sectors, they've also struck a chord, especially the strong message by Brian Mundubile to the farmers. And on education, Brian Mundubile has insisted that they are not abandoning free education. They will, in fact, upgrade it to quality education, the education that is free, and that they will add supplemental things like uniforms and shoes, and, you know, build more spaces for our students who are crammed in small spaces. I think the messages are beginning to get clearer. We need firm messages on foreign policy, on investors, on what to do with the mines. Agriculture and education seems to have been tackled. So I think on our next program, we will come and tackle all this. So enjoy football, enjoy your team. If your team has been knocked out, Amazambians Tawashupa, you already have another team. So let's enjoy football, but we'll find time to discuss our program. I'll leave you with some very important videos, so don't go away. These are very important to refresh ourselves.
Errors, debt restructuring, the damage in the mines, law and order. Twali wambuloji mwalunga mujoma mwakwera basi wyakulusaka intercity guseruka buyombo oserukira ate basi awakujoma ate vimenye nivi batoka kuchoma vimenye nivi ati tundu mwezi singombe wakabape abantu bali kumwa ati tundu mwezi ati mbaba hota maningi kuhotela akaende amubaome ku intercity sunu yakaba yamwe yakakuba mulaliendela mbomu yanda intercity kunyina umuguma wamuguma ndamwanga banyina bene wabalyawe Zambia, so many things. Although we have done, there are many more things to be done. Tujiyagumbere kubereka. Not waktarigo, not waganka kubereko. We have just started.
Why we feel that we are hated even when we are not. We feel sorry for ourselves. We feel sorry for being Tonga. Tajele degubabobo pe mebo, my father and my mother. I did all my education in Monze. But there's one thing that I have seen. When it is time for voting, the kind of message that is given to us, the voters, or the kind of message that is given to us, the people, it is not the message that unites the country. And it is high time the people of Southern Province realized and vote together with the whole nation, like the whole nation did in 2021. Nova Monze, Nova West host, I'm sorry. I want to use Tonga, and I'm not sorry for being Tonga because that is the only language I have known as a kid. So
thank you.
Utapangi mistake. Nanda wikaba nanda kuma direct. Toka tapangi mistake pe. You know to one. Nova West Nova na Monze. You are not hated by anyone. If only muzonde dwa muntu ngwe munya uzwa kujisi uzwa area yenu komunya ko muzwa ngo muntu muzonde. Edgar Lungu wakabola mu 2029 kumonze where katuli kumonze where. What did he do? He gave land. What did HH do? He got that land and under Chief John. He gave that land and said build a church. What did they do? His HH said no. Once we come in power, we are going to get that land back. We want to build a stadium, not a church. Chief John area. ZCA after ZCA there. What message is coming to the people? No bakumonze mwaguti mundizuye mu power mwainka kurusaka bani kumuma makambo yonse bakali kumuma mwainka kurusaka mebo kuzwako monze kwenda komenena ndainka kurusaka. I did my college at University of Zambia ndainka kurusaka where my station was Intercity bus terminus. Wina wali kunduma na bambola chitonga freely. No one was beating me. Wina wali kutuma. But today people are believing that Tongas were being beaten in Lusaka because it is coming from the top office, which is wrong. We can talk about free education, we can talk about building, we can talk about infrastructure, we can talk about anything. But for as long as we are divided, we do not have a country to call country again. 2021, why we were able to remove a government is because the whole country came together. There was no one who spoke of a tongue. There was no one who said, I am Muluvale, I am Kaonde, I am Lozi, I am Bemba, I am Tonga, I'm not going to vote for HH. The country said we need change, and we went there to vote, and we brought the change we wanted. But is this the change that he promised us? No, it's not. We made that mistake, and we ought not to make this mistake yet again. Because it will not be mistake now. When we do this, it will be stupidity as a country because we don't know what we want. Then we don't know. We are no longer patriots at the end of it all. So we
all the numbers so money. All the numbers to nan konfwe. If you mpasha kwa de saule sosa. Kalanda kudu yo akwashe nyari no kuyifisa. Banta washe nyari awifisa iyo. Ya kuvyala no kusombola mwebe na Zambia Ichili chose chali kwa tenchita ya chikope samba ya chalo Muhikalisha mufi lamba mulelila Uwacha no waila Sangeni chita ya kubeba Mkushele saba chalo chalo Ulubuto na lumona Ulo Ako akazu Ako Kwa shala fepa nono Inyali yena